What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are watching Ranger Wrap Up.
Basic, man, give me the peak. No, how do you mean no? I mean, I'm holding on to this one.
And happy Saturday. It's Ranger Liz here, and welcome to the Ranger Wrap Up, where we've got a whole slate of news and fun coverage for you all about the world of Power Rangers on Saturday. So I hope you have a drink of choice. Does not have to be beer. This is not just saying have a drink. Let's talk some Power Ranger news. Later, we're going to have more comic stuff. Of course, we're going to have stuff about games. No, I have a bit of game news. Don't quote me on games, but we definitely have a live segment where we're going to be talking to you guys, and of course check out the chat because we are going to be, of course, chatting with you guys throughout this as well. So feel free to comment along over there or down below. Let's talk about the three things of Power Ranger news this week. 1, Power Rangers Legacy War. See, there's your gaming stuff for you. Activate your Power Pass to receive Tommy, the White Ninja Unmorphed Skin, better known as, oh my gosh, it's Tommy from the movie. Where are the roller skates? I need the rollerblades. I need the rollerblades. I really, really do. It is going to be in the Corruption Zone, and it should be available right now. Then we're going to talk about conventions, but first, because conventions is going to be a little rattly, this big one, Ryan Parrott has announced that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 100 is going to be his final issue on the monthly series. He said, quote, "It's been an unbelievable 6 years, and I am so proud of all the people and the work we've been a part of. It's truly changed my life." It's definitely changed my life when it comes to comic books and whatnot. He had this come out, if you were aware of this at all, it's called Power Rangers Aftershock. It came out in tandem or slightly after the movie did, and it was really good. I remember I picked this up because I was really trying to support the movie. I wasn't even reading the comic books, but I picked this up and I was like, wow, this is really good. I wish the movie was that good. Ends up being Ryan Parrott, and now he's moving on. He has a lot of amazing stuff. I'm going to tell you about what his next projects that you actually can go support. But he does go on to say in this thing he posted on Twitter, quote, "Does this mean I'll never tell another Ranger story again? We'll see, but this felt like the right time to step away. So thank you to all the readers. It's truly been an honor to be a part of this amazing community. Until next time." Thank you, Ryan Parrott, again. He has a lot of amazing stuff on the works, actually. Back in January, it was announced that his book, or it's a graphic novel called Dead Day, is actually really, really good. I read it. It's fantastic. In fact, it's so fantastic, it's being picked up on Peacock as a series. That's right. So one of his, at first I read this guy, Power Ranger movie tie-in, and this is just, I wish you so much, all the best. Good luck, Ryan. I just, woo! Let's go. Cheers to Ryan. Cheers. So I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to throw it to Josh. I don't really even know if we have Lightning Collection news at this point. It's been a little kind of weak. So if Josh has any news, we're just going to pretend I gave him a really awesome intro. Josh!
Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, this is Josh Perry from the Illuminerdi, and here's everything that happened this past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. So last week we talked about the yet-to-be-announced and still has not been announced metallic armor White Ranger figure that was found in Malaysia. Well, this past week we actually have some official promo shots that have been found thanks to the Falcons Hainer from Singapore, who definitely made sure to make it clear they put their watermark all over these pictures. But these are the official promo pictures that would be released from Hasbro, even though Hasbro has not actually officially revealed these pictures themselves, but we get to see the typical promo shots of the figure, we get to see all the accessories it comes with, the box, the civilian head, all that good stuff that we would see, you know, if this was just up on Hasbro Pulse or any other retailer or something like that. Still no word of when we're actually going to get this figure officially announced by Hasbro and actually available for people in the US to be able to order it, or really anybody who's not in Malaysia to be able to order it. But yeah, no word on that just yet, but the figure does look really good. I think that the head sculpt's a little meh, but for the most part, I'm very excited to get this figure whenever we are able to get it. Now, this was a very light week for Lightning Collection news, and that's pretty much all we actually have to talk about for like Lightning Collection stuff. However, we have one thing to talk about that could be important for Lightning Collection going forward, and that was G.I. Joe. So a very interesting kind of segue here to a different Hasbro brand, but this past week G.I. Joe had one of their Yojo June live stream events in which the team gave a pretty big revelation that Hasbro is going to be attending San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Now, this will be the first time Hasbro has attended Comic-Con since 2019, or really kind of any in-person conventions since 2019, because, you know, the last 2 years they've replaced any announcements they would have made at Comic-Con during their own Hasbro PulseCon, which I think we are still getting this fall, if some words from the Marvel team are to be believed. So it looks like we're going to have, you know, Hasbro announcements at Comic-Con, and also, I think, a PulseCon. So it's very interesting to kind of see what's going to be happening with that over the next couple of months. But G.I. Joe did confirm that they're not going to be the only Hasbro brand present at Comic-Con, so there's reason to believe that Power Rangers would be there as well, and that we would probably get some kind of Lightning Collection announcement during Comic-Con, whatever that may be, but we don't know for 100% certainty what that would be, or, you know, if Power Rangers is even going to be attending, although it's probably a pretty safe bet. And with that, that's pretty much all we have to talk about for the Lightning Collection this past week. Of course, until next time, if you guys would like to hear all these different stories in more detail, you guys can check out the full episode of Lightning Storm available on the Tokusatsu YouTube channel right now. You can also check out my articles over at the Illuminerdi, and follow me on Twitter at LiverRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. This has been a little quickie, Lightning Storm.
Before we talk about number 3, I just want to say hi and thanks for all the well wishes. So I did the show, and then the next week I was actually at Disney World. Yay! And then I came back and I had COVID. Boo! And now I'm finally back, but that's why my voice and everything sounds a little weird. I'm fine, the family and everything, we're all recuperating and stuff, but that's just what it is. But I had a lot of fun. Before that, what are other fun things to do? This is probably a horrible tie-in. Conventions! That's probably not the best segue, Liz. Anyway, Ranger Stop and Pop is happening in Atlanta this weekend, and since I wasn't feeling good, I really talked to you a whole much about it, but that means I have to mention the other Power Ranger conventions that are happening. So, one, if you are actually at Ranger Stop and Pop Atlanta right now, and you were somehow in the chat or whatever, I do want you to say so, or you're just, hi, thank you. I want to know what's going on. I'm always like, I love these kind of conventions. I love being tagged and stuff in them, finding out news, hearing new things from panels. So if you want to be a part of this Ranger convention scene, Power Morphicon is going to be the next one. It's going to be August 26th through 28th. They also have like a day 0 stuff. There's actually, Power Morphicon is its own thing, and let us know in the comments, or hey, over in the chat, be like, hey, Ranger Liz, I should actually make a Power Morphicon video this year. I'd really appreciate it. Let me know. Maybe I will end up making one. I'm sadly not going to be going. Are you? I'm not, but that's fine. I went to Disney World. That's right. They have guests from all over at Power Morphicon. Not just, they have Ryan Parrott and Kyle Higgins with the comic books. They just announced Jackie Marshland, who is a part of writer and for a bajillion series. Like, she has a ton, but they also have guests, which I can't believe. They got Marvelous. Ryoto Ozawa, he is coming. I think it's just amazing. So if you want to get in and you want to get more information, you can just go to officialpowermorphicon.com. They have different ticket packages that you can get. The main hotel, I believe, is already sold out, but there is more hotels and whatnot in the area. It is happening at the Pasadena Convention Center. I will give them credit for one thing. The conventions usually, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday is the preview nights, usually when they do the whole go see the command center and stuff like that if they can. This year, they are at least adding a badge pickup to Thursday. Thank you, Jesus, because it just turned into Lion Con. And if you were there in 2018, and you know on Friday, some people, and I'm not exaggerating, waited 4 hours for their badge to get on the floor. They didn't even really get on the floor on Friday. So I'm very, very happy that that it's going to have a Thursday pickup and Friday badge pickup at 12 noon. Floor doesn't open until 4, so hopefully it will all be resolved. But if August is too soon for you and you need a little more time to save, how about November? So November 11th through 13th is going to be Ranger Stop 8. It is held in Orlando. This year it's going to be at the SeaWorld DoubleTree. It started as a small one, but it's a really, really great stop. I managed to go to it in 2019. It was the last one before COVID and everything, and it was such an amazing time. It was well run, it was fun. I had an absolute blast, and just because it's all the way in November doesn't mean that there aren't guests already that haven't been announced. They already have a little bit of combination of new and old. There is some Beast Morphers on there, some from Wild Force, and like 4 of the 5 Aqua Rangers. Go to rangerstoporlando.com if you want more information. But guys, this week, goodbye to Ryan Parrott. Go get your 1995 rollerblading Tommy. And yeah, get your tickets and information for conventions that are happening the rest of the summer and whatnot. And it's a great way to meet other Ranger fans. Or you can meet other Ranger fans in the chat, because I'm going to throw back to the studio where they're going to talk to you. Right, Joe? Right, I don't know where he is, so we're gonna go, Joe, take it!
Yo.
Welcome to the Ranger Wrap-Up. Here we are on this lovely Saturday here in Southern California. We are shooting remotely today because there was a COVID outbreak at our studio, and we wanted to make sure that everyone was safe. We wanted to say thank you to Liz and Josh Perry, Living Ranger Key, Lightning Storm. He did an amazing job giving us all that new information about everything that's coming out with Hasbro. By the way, G.I. Joe's 40th anniversary, they sent us this giant box, which we'll be unboxing at some point on our channel. We were supposed to do it today, but obviously that COVID thing happened. We all hope that you're safe and at home enjoying the stream. Let us know where you're watching us from in the chat. Who do we got in the chat, by the way,
We have Christopher Brandon, Robert Amaya, Elliot Crawford, Edward Sanchez, DA Games, Ranger Liz, Mikey Nerd Talk. We also have Johnny Marrero, Pikachu Master, and of course us. For everybody too. So there won't be a fan discussion today, but we're gonna try to have the whole cast on next week. We got a pretty stacked show this week, but so Ranger Liz.
When he says cast, also he means our cast, not the Dino cast. Just to clear up any confusion. By the way, there's a handful of people that I haven't seen in such a long time that I want to say hello to. Mikey being one of them. EA Games, another one. Abram, the realtor. You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming back and joining us. We love
Mikey
talking
the Prom
Power
King,
Rangers.
remember?
We do it. Mikey the Prom King. We do it every week here on the Illuminerdi. And again, special shout out to our cast members. Ranger Liz, who recovered like the Wolverine. She's feeling a lot better. And then we also have to give a shout out to our boy Josh Perry, always hitting us with that latest in the Lightning collection. But Jester, how have you been, man? I haven't talked to you in like a week. Actually, that's not true. I talked to you last night, but other than that, I haven't seen you in like
doing good. Just trying to stay healthy. It's crazy out there right now. At least the numbers in my county are super high.
COVID numbers on the rise.
My coworkers going down left and right on both sides, my day job and you guys. So I'm glad to see Liz is back and she's she recovered. I mean, Star Wars Celebration. I heard a bunch of people got it. There's a bunch of conventions going on. Ranger Stop and Pop is going on right now, so I hope everybody is staying safe because it's getting crazy again. We don't want to go back to closing down again and doing all that shit. I love live events, and I hope that we could do this safe. So if there's any future conventions out there that are looking to, have their convention, please try to be safe. And if you can wear a mask, maybe wear a helmet. If you guys are at Ranger Stop and Pop, maybe wear your Power Ranger helmet the whole time. Just stay safe out there.
Yes. Also, we do have a few of you guys watching from Texas. Big shout out to you, Texas. So you guys Longhorn fans. We got Robert Amaya from Texas, D. Mikey Nerd Gaming from Texas. A lot of you Texans in here. We love it. We love the Ranger Nation happening in Texas. You know what I want to talk about? You had just mentioned this. Live events. We were at Star Wars Celebration. You and I were both there, at least for a couple days. We were at WonderCon together. And another thing that you and I are going to be at together is Power Morphicon. And guess what? I think we can make this announcement right now. We are officially going to be throwing Friday's party and Saturday's party.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing both after parties for Power Morphicon. It'll be a lot of fun. They are going to be at the Hilton this year. At least that's the information that's going on right now. And they will be themed. So if you guys remember last Morphicon that we had, we did the Angel Grove prom when we were called that hashtag show. But now, as I said, and I say it again, we will never do another Angel Grove prom. So if you were able to enjoy Angel Grove prom at Power Morphicon 2018, then that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, at least from us. We will be doing a different theme this year, which we'll be announcing very, very soon. But it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about Power Morphicon. It's one of my favorite conventions, really, to interact with our fellow fans in here, like Ronald D. and Christopher Brandon and Robert Amaya. And you know how much fun we have at this thing, Jezzer.
It's fun. And it's going to be great to have everybody back. It's about maybe a little bit over 2 months till we get to Power Morphicon, so everybody stay safe, stay healthy, because I want to see everybody. Who in the chat, who is coming to Power Morphicon? Let us know.
Yes, great question. Who is coming to Power Morphicon? Because we want to see a lot of you guys there. That Power Morphicon is always just such a fun time, and it's just a fun time, man. Who are you looking forward to seeing most at Power Morphicon from the people that we interact with and we don't get to see every day?
If possibly, if he does make it out, Mark Erlem, because
oh yes,
if he does make it out,
you know what? I would love, obviously our whole cast is pretty remote from all over the world. I'd love to have all of us together at one of these conventions. It would be so much fun. Let's shift gears for a second, because one of the big topics Liz talked about this week was Ryan Parrott leaving Power Rangers. He's been doing such a phenomenal job of picking up the ball after Kyle Higgins and running with it, giving us, and this is the one thing I love about Kyle Higgins' run about Power Rangers, is that he's expanding the universe. I think that that's one thing as a Ranger fan myself. I love seeing the expansion of the Power Ranger universe. He really introduced us to the Omega Rangers and their space exploits, and we're getting a grounded story here on Earth. We do know that Matt Groom is taking over one of the books. I think that's already, is that happening now currently?
I think so, yeah.
So Matt Groom started already. So Matt Groom from the Ranger Danger podcast is taking over one of the books. But yeah, man, Ryan Parrott has done such a great job at crafting the Power Ranger universe in the comics that we know and love. And it's going to be sad to see him go.
It is going to be sad. But also, Matt Groom just confirmed, apparently, that Mighty Morphin issue 22 is his last issue as well. So, I don't...
Oh, Matt Groom's last issue.
It seems like either we're going to get a bunch of announcements for new writers and new comic book creators for the franchise, or it's something there may be a transition going on, but we'll see. Time will tell. But
we do know that Boom Studios is extremely happy with the franchise of Power Rangers. Excuse me, man. That cough was long overdue. But we do know that Boom Studios is they are really happy with Power Rangers as a franchise. One of our close friends works there, and they love Power Rangers. So I'm really excited to see this next chapter of where the Power Rangers comics go. But by the way, guys, I forgot to let you guys know, too. We have the Super Chat feature that helps support the show. It helps support the cast on the show. It helps support us all to keep talking about Power Rangers every single week and bringing the latest Power Ranger news. But speaking of Power Ranger news and comics, let's talk about Deoxy, because he just reviewed issue 20 for the Power Ranger comics.
The Charge to 100 storyline continues with Mighty Morphin issue 20, and this issue was quite the interesting read because it kind of brings the current storyline to an end, with the Rangers trying to find the brand new command center and the King Aradon invading Earth. Those plot lines kind of wrap up, but the King Aradon stuff is kind of left up in the air if he's going to come back or not. But like I said, when I looked at my sort of preview pages for Mighty Morphin issue 20, King Aradon was the tip of the iceberg to show how powerful the machine race is, because after Mighty Morphin Season 3 / the Alien Rangers was the Machine Empire, so it kind of teases the more powerful threat coming later down the line, because if you remember, even Lord Zed was scared of the Machine Empire, so King Aradon was only a small ounce of what the machine race can do. And this issue was also a great Rocky issue, because Rocky gets a lot of character development in this one issue, where Rocky feels like he's not confident enough to carry the team, or it feels like he's useless because he's no Jason, he's no Tommy. I mean, he had doubts about himself being a Red Ranger, which they sort of talked about back in Ryan Parrott's run near the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Rocky gets big character development where he stands up to King Aradon, donning the infamous means bad, doesn't it? Well, the famous Dragon Shield and Dragon Dagger, where Rocky wears it for the first time, much like how Jason wore it back in the day. And to see Rocky hold his own against King Aradon, even though he's getting stomped by this guy, is a cool Rocky moment, because Rocky, against all odds, even though he might die, he's got people he wants to protect, he's got people he cares about, and Rocky is willing to make this last stand to keep his friends and family safe. And that's what I love about Rocky in the Power Ranger comics. And even though there's a sense of relief and safety as King Aradon leaves the Earth, the Rangers are hit with hard news where we learn about the passing of Jason's mother that we learnt back in Power Rangers issue 19. And that's going to carry over into Power Rangers issue 20 next week. So we've got this story arc sort of interconnecting, kind of like what we had with the Eltarian War. And I do wonder where the characters are going to go moving forward, because due to some of the plot synopsises and press releases, it seems like the Rangers are going to be hit pretty hard with this news and are going to struggle with what to do next. So the issue opens up with the party going on in the Lion Galaxy, where Alpha is distracting the king while he tells him probably a bunch of stories and stuff like that with Tommy. So while this is going on, this is able to help Kimberly and Adam sneak into their outpost and get the blueprints for the brand new command center they can have back on Earth. And I gotta say, I love seeing Alpha in the top hat with the mustache and the monocle. It looks amazing. I mean, Alpha, we need a lightning collection of this Alpha design or something. Someone's probably going to tailor-make clothes for Alpha that they released a while back, and they're going to do this to him. And if they do, that's going to be amazing. So, the whole premise of Alpha sort of having this disguise and distracting the king is sort of teaching Tommy a lesson where Tommy kind of doubted Alpha's idea to have costumes and disguises and stuff like that. But Alpha says, don't worry about it, we're all doing our part. And after that, it cuts back to the Battle of Earth, where Rocky and Matt are trying to fight off King Aradon and his forces, and things aren't looking good for him, because King Aradon, he's a tank, he's a force to be reckoned with, where he's able to push back Rocky and Matt, and they're forced to retreat. After that, we then have Adam and Kimberly's Mission Impossible mission to break into the place and get the blueprints for the command center they need. And who do they run into this place? Well, none other than everyone's favorite Ninja Steel character, Redbot. Now, I'm only kidding, it's Mechanic. I think we kind of all saw it coming. Or maybe some of us didn't see it coming, but I kind of saw it coming. But we see Mick in here, he makes his little cameo appearance. It's pretty cool, I'm glad we got to see Mick in this issue. I knew he would probably show up if we were going to the Lion Galaxy, but I'm glad he actually did make his cameo in this issue. So, we finally got our Mechanic cameo that everyone wanted. But one interesting thing is the back and forth that Adam and Kimberly have, and the conversation kind of ends with, doesn't Kimberly want to move on to something else? And the whole premise of that conversation, sort of reading it, is Kimberly kind of does move on from being a ranger later down the line, and Catherine takes her place. So I do wonder if these conversations that we've been having with our rangers, where would this be something else you want to do? Are you going to retire from being a ranger? It's kind of foreshadowing for them stepping down from their ranger duties and moving on. And a lot of people have predicted that Charge to 100 is going to sort of transition into the Zeo stuff. We don't know yet, we don't know for sure, but either way, it's an interesting back and forth that our characters have. After that, we then cut back to Earth, where Rocky and Matt are forced to retreat after Matt takes a devastating blow trying to protect Rocky from one of King Aridon's attacks. And while they're retreating and sort of recovering, Matt is kind of banged up. His helmet's cracked, he's not looking so good. And Rocky kind of has a bit of a mental breakdown where he thinks he's not good enough. He doesn't think he's cut out to be a ranger. He says that he's no Jason or Tommy, and he has no idea what he's doing. And Matt gives this big speech by saying, "You're kind of the rock of this team, because in the past few days, you've been able to sort of fight off an alien invasion, protect your family, and no one else could do that." So he gives this big speech how Rocky is resilient to sort of doing all these tasks under pressure. And Gat gives Rocky the confidence to keep fighting. And Matt gives Rocky the Dragon Dagger and the Dragon Shield so he can go into battle and face off against King Aridon. And although Rocky's not strong enough to fight off King Aridon where he gets his ass kicked, it's still a really cool moment to see Rocky take the Dragon Shield and take the Dragon Dagger and fight off this big threat. And although this could have been Rocky's last stand and he could have died here, he was willing to fight until the very end. And I love that about Rocky in the comics, where he's going to fight to the very end to protect the people he cares about. So while Rocky is fighting off King Aridon and it feels like this is the end for Rocky, he's saved at the last minute by his friends as the brand new command center, which is the power chamber we see in Power Rangers Zeo to Power Rangers Turbo, comes down, and you have this awesome page of the Thunderzords just roaring as it comes down. And Rocky stands up to King Aridon and basically tells him to get lost. And although that's kind of corny where Rocky says, "Get off my planet," and they kind of leave, it does show that King Aridon might come back later down the line. But again, like I've said several times, this was a really cool Rocky moment in the comic. And to see everyone teleport down, and you see Rocky in the Dragon Shield holding his power sword, telling King Aridon to piss off, is kind of a cool moment. So Rocky has this warm embrace with his family where he thanks them for being brave, and his sister thanks him for being brave. And Rocky's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," where his family has kind of caught on that, well, his older siblings have probably caught on that Rocky is the Red Ranger. And that's kind of interesting going forward. So although there's a moment of victory where they've chased off King Aridon and they've got their brand new power chamber, Kimberly then gets the call from Jason's dad, where we find out that Jason's mum has passed away. And that leads in to Power Rangers issue 19 we got last month. And moving forward, next week will be the funeral for Jason's mum. So I do wonder what's going to happen moving forward with these characters as they all come together. So yeah, that was Mighty Morphin issue 20, and kind of the first story arc that Matt Groom did with the Mighty Morphin comic. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this arc that Matt Groom did. He made a good first strong impression, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do next with these characters. I mean, we've got Power Rangers issue 20 next week, so we've got kind of a downer situation with what just happened to Jason, but what's going to happen next with where these characters and where they're going to go, I'm really looking forward to see what Matt Groom is going to do next with these characters. I mean, he introduced King Aridon, and we've still got Zed looming out there, which they kind of teased on the final page, where Zordon said we'll worry about Zed later. So I can't wait to see what Matt is going to do with this comic moving forward. But what did you guys think of Mighty Morphin issue 20? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm bringing this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to turn on notifications. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, take care, bye.
Yo.
Of course we are. Yo, so that was an amazing job by our good buddy Deoxy.
Thank you, Deoxy.
Look, a lot of you fans are sleeping on the Power Ranger comics, and I'm not going to lie, I'm right there with you. I have also been sleeping on the comics. I am not currently caught up, but after looking at that story arc, it makes me want to catch up. Like, it makes me want to see this Rocky story.
Alpha 5 in a top
I
hat?
like Rocky as a character. Yeah, how do you beat Alpha 5 in a top hat? We got the red Lion Galaxy armor. That was so cool. Like, I like little throwbacks like that, but I don't like them forced. I like when they're done naturally and they feel natural. But that's such a cool callback to stuff that, like, let's be honest, like, Ninja Steel for the most part is a pretty forgettable season, with the exception of like Dimensions in Danger. But like, that's a cool little throwback. I like that a lot. So who do we got in the chat, Jezzer? What are they talking about?
We got Toku Kids in here. What up, Toku? Morph, Henshin,
Toku
Heroes
Kid, how
is
you
here.
doing?
Nathan Janky. Sorry if I killed that. Abram the Realtor. Christopher.
Realtor.
Yeah, Christopher Brandon. Blackwing's in here. Ranger Liz is still in here. Yeah, it's.
What do we got people talking about though? I saw the one in here that we need a Matte Lightning Collection figure. I couldn't agree more. I would love to get.
I feel like that's a definite, like, that's gonna happen, because like every few waves they do a comic book exclusive character. I really think that they're gonna do a comic book exclusive Green Ranger, Matt the Green Ranger, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this for a second. We got the super chat feature, which you guys can use to help support the show. But man, do you like the likeness of the Lightning Collection figures to have the human head sculpts that we're used to from the show, or do you want to start seeing them move in the direction of some of the comic accurate?
For the
head sculpts?
Ranger Slayer one, I would have loved the comic book, but look at these. I don't know if you can see them. This is the Blue Ranger of the Ninja Blue Ranger, and it looks like the movie head sculpt for Billy. I think this is the best Billy head sculpt that we've gotten so far. But yeah, I think that's where it depends. If it's comic book based, then use the comic book likeness. But if it's based off the show, then go with the show.
Absolutely, go with the show. Some of the comic ones, though, I mean, let's be real. Like, if we ever did get a Matte Lightning Collection action figure, I'd kind of want the comic version, because I don't really remember. I remember that Matt's in one scene of the TV show, and I could care less about the likeness of that dude. I really just know him. Yeah, he's in the show.
Dang, we need a
little throwback there. Look at that. Some things you learn every day on the Ranger Rap, right, Jezzer? I got to ask you a question, buddy, because I know that you spent a lot of time in Japan. And I know that you love getting the Super Sentai action figures whenever you're out there, and I also know that you like getting them at a better rate.
Yeah.
Talk to me. I mean, is the price difference really that
so
much?
There is a town, or like a city with like a little district in Tokyo called Akihabara, where they have anime and they have Super Sentai. They got literally everything. It's like the whole street is just stores that sell like either used stuff or old stuff. There's places with Power Ranger stuff. I don't know how they get it. Maybe from the military members that live there. And it's just everything is there is so cool. Some of them are super expensive, like the retro stuff. But let's say, like, I got a bunch of Q Ranger stuff when I was out there, and they're super cheap. Huge bag of like Qtamas for like maybe like $12. I don't know if you guys remember when we had Christina and Abraham on the show. I had picked him up a screen accurate gold Beast Morpher. It was Go Busters, but gold Beast Morpher, and he was pretty hyped about it because it was screen accurate size and everything. And I only got that for like $10. Like, it's we need, if we can organize a Japan trip and everybody goes, I think it would be super fun, especially for the Ranger team.
The Illuminerdi takes over Japan. I love it. Now, in the chat, we have Robert Amaya. He says, apparently the red and yellow swapped MMPR figures still look like Austin and Twee with the comic hairstyle. I do like that. Taking the likeness of the actor, but then using the aesthetic, some of the aesthetic from the comic, and merging them together. I am a big fan of that. I would have loved, like as you said, Jezzer, I would have loved to have seen that with Kimberly from Ranger Slayer, except with her comic accurate like hair.
I mean, what do you think about the Draken ones?
Ronald, love the Draken ones. I actually love the Draken figures. I own both Draken figures, and I don't because you and I have been talking about this for a while now, talking about shelving units and displaying figures, because I'm starting to really get into the collecting and displaying side of this. And that's one of the bigger questions. It's like what I'm doing with my wrestling figures is different than what I did with my Power Ranger figures, because for some reason with my Power Ranger figures, I didn't buy doubles. I just bought singles, and I took them out, or took some of them out. Most of them are still in their packaging, but my wrestling figures, I'll buy two, one to take out and display, and one to keep in its package, mainly because the retention on their value is incredible for the wrestling figures. But man, for displaying those though, Draken is one of the best ones to display. I feel like they captured JDF's likeness the best, but did a great job of implementing his comic look.
You see right there, right behind you, where that little gun poster is with the butterflies. That would be a perfect place for an IKEA glass case for all your figures. I know.
Right back here?
Might not agree, but that's a great spot right there.
Stephanie has this thing about our house where, and I get it from an aesthetic standpoint of her being a woman that kind of like helps cultivate the look of the house. The feng shui is some might say.
Feng shui.
Yeah. So she's not about the hodgepodge stuff, and you have like a good streaming setup. This is my streaming setup. Mainly, it's my living room, and this is the way we roll. But yeah, you've been in my house, so we have a garage out back, and I'm literally thinking about converting half of it into a studio with all the collectibles and stuff there, and literally having a coffee table would be a wrestling ring to scale. I have a whole plan that I want to do. We'll essentially call this the man cave, but we'll see where this goes. We do have a super chat. Thank you so much. Do you think the Omegas might be a Morphicon exclusive? I don't.
Wait, did we announce did we announce it yet? No.
No, I don't. I think it has been announced. I don't want to say that it has and then announce it and then it hasn't. But I don't think that they are going to be the Morphicon exclusive. If anything, I see the Omegas actually getting a Comic-Con release, if anything, or even mainstream release, because I think fans would consume them. I just don't want them to be peg warmers. But I don't think that they would be. I feel like Jason's, Zach's, and Trini's do sell particularly well. But who knows? Who knows? But I would love to see them out in some shape.
That would be cool.
Thank you so much for your super chat. The reason I was talking to you a little bit about Japan and Super Sentai is because we have Heirloom talking about Super Sentai. So let's go.
Welcome to the Henshin Hangout. My name is Mark, aka Heirloom, and today we're going to be talking about news in Super Sentai, from product releases to the review of the Don Brothers episode 14. So let's jump straight into it. First of all, there wasn't much of Sentai news for product. Basically, we had a new update for the Gokai Cellular, which is called the Tuscular, which I think I probably said wrong. Have no idea. Let me know in the comments as well as the chat. But basically, all this is an add-on that goes with the Gokai Cellular, which is the memorial version, which is out very, very soon. And it does come with a few extra things. Now, if you're wondering, hang on a minute, where was this premiered? Tukaiser and Gokaiger. The Zenkai, it's a team-up thing. It's a special thing that I reported last week on. We saw the addition to the Gokai Cellular, where Flint used it to transform into the Tukaiser version. So it was cool. It was really nice. And it was very kind of like, will they bring this out? Will they do it? Yes, they did. They brought it out. And I have to admit, I'm really excited because I love Gokaiger, and it comes with some actually fantastic keys, two of which I really need to add to my collection. Now, at the moment, it's unaware of if some of the other keys, like Tokuja or Ninja, will work in this, if it's going to say something. But to be fair, if they only just made a few of them actually talk, it would be kind of weird. but I have a feeling that all of this is going to work properly within the kind of cellular, so it won't just be kind of like some buttons will or some buttons won't. One thing it does come with is sounds from Zox and Flint, which I'm very kind of excited on. And it looks like it's going to have probably a speaker in the back or something, or somewhere so you can actually hear these lines. On screen right now, we have Zoo the World from Zooja, then we have Ho-Ho Soldier from Q Ranger, Lupin X and Pattern X from Lupin Ranger versus Pattern Ranger. Those are the ones I want the most. Then we have Reosol Gold, and then obviously we have Kira Major Silver, which are all kind of nice ones, and again they're from Rio Soldier as well as Kira Major, and they do look really kind of nice. And I'm just really excited. All these are properly painted, so it's not like the kind of old colors that we used to see when obviously Gokaija was around. And if you're a Gokai collector, this is a must for it. Even if you're kind of on the fence, at least it comes with some really good keys, and it's kind of carrying on. Now, my kind of prediction on all of this is they're going to keep making these keys because they're gonna keep making the keys because it's a money maker. It also comes with an extended stand, so if you wanted to put the cellular with this edition on, you can do, and this is going to be released in January next year of 2023, so I'm very excited about that, and I kind of really want more. But in other news, we have something that's come from the Premium Bandai collection, and I was very kind of like, oh, that's really weird for it to come out. And this is basically the DX NATO brace set, which is the bad guys from Don Brothers, their henshin devices. And I generally was kind of shocked about this in a way. I was like, oh, they look cool. They look really cool, don't get me wrong. I actually kind of really like them. But I kind of think this is just a money kind of thing. Oh, we need more, so do it. But I've got to admit, some of the designs look absolutely fantastic. And if you're into Don Brothers like myself, I am going to be picking these up, so I'm hoping you can. But if you want to read all of this as well, you can. Zenkai Daddy Brin has actually been reporting on this and has listed them over at the Illuminerdi.com. So definitely go check out if you want some more information. But kind of breaking all of this down, this has 25 recorded lines from the 3 actors who play the bad guys, and also it has different sounds of them morphing or kind of like transforming, but you can actually switch them out as well, so each one will play a different one. It's not just going to be the standard sort of one going around, but I generally kind of really like it. I like that it's very simplistic. If you know, it's not like big and bulky, so I'm wondering how it's going to do it properly with sound, if it's going to sound really cool or if it's going to sound a bit tinny. This is set for a November release and is actually quite cheap as well at 6,050 yen, but it could be a little bit more from different sites if you wanted to pick them up. But I kind of really like this. I generally really loved the designs and thought, hey, why the hell not? So that's pretty much it for literally news in the Sentai. I will be reviewing at some point the Gokaija and Tukaiza, or Tukaiza and Gokaija, kind of small spin-off that they did very, very soon, as it's done. But so far, it looks really cool. It's a little bit weird, but I like weird, and I kind of think it's really cool. But for now, we're going to be talking about Don Brothers and what's been happening in the series so far. So let's jump to the review. This episode wasn't as strong as the last one, mainly because it felt like, you know, you had Don Momotaro being kind of destroyed at the last episode, and that was kind of like shocking, very much like, what the hell? But later on, it just kind of, I wish that he didn't come back type of thing until like much later on, because it felt like it was more, oh, he's back. So that's the thing. I wasn't a big kind of fan of this one. But this entire episode is them wanting to bring him back, to try and find a way. The Don Brothers are talking to Kaito, saying like, oh, hey, like, could you bring him back? Is there a way? Do you know what's going on? And he's like, oh, I thought that you'd get overpowered by his own strength, and that's what would defeat him. Which to me sounds like he's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger over time, which kind of makes me wonder, is that the way that they want to go with? Is that the way that they want to kind of end it, where he gets too strong, where he has to be sealed away? Maybe I should just read the kind of the legend that this is based on, because that would probably tell me how the series is going to work and how it's going to go through. But for now, everyone is kind of wondering what's going on. They're saddened and they're kind of like down that their leader has gone. And I can understand it. Like, to me, I'd be exactly the same. But they're kind of wondering what they should have done. Like, should they have boycotted the fight? But that doesn't kind of work. But this main episode is kind of turning around and focusing on the 6th Ranger. But his name is Momitani, and I kind of really like it. So it kind of goes through the whole thing of he effectively came in the world the same as Don Momotaro, and he is kind of like training since birth, that he could literally start training. And it shows this kind of life of this small village, which I generally really like. I like the fact that they've gone outside the main city, and they're showing kind of the backstory, the rural end of Japan, which I absolutely love. But with this, he's saying goodbye to all his friends, and he decides to become a hero because he's got that voice inside him going, hey, come and be a hero, you've got to do this. And I kind of generally like it because he's a very likable person so far, and considering how sometimes you think, like with me, Zox from Zenkaijo, I was like, oh, you're a bit of a dick, aren't you? But I kind of really like Momitani for this because he just seems like a good guy. So he says goodbye to everyone and basically makes his way to the city. The kind of quick updates is Sonny, who is the one who defeated Don Momotaro, is feeling guilt. He doesn't know what it is, but he is feeling guilt for the way that he took advantage of finding out the Don Momotaro's weakness, and he doesn't know what to do with it. For some strange reason, he's fighting one of the bestials, which we've seen previously in the series, where they can't be defeated, but it just seems really out of place, like they're training or something. But this woman transforms into this bestial, which I'm guessing we're going to see much later on, and thus therefore all his comrades are like going, hey, you took down Don Momotaro. That's pretty decent, isn't it? And he's like, oh, I don't kind of like this. The main bad guy in this is a guy who is playing, I'm guessing, mahjong or something like that, or a form of chess. But he loses it because he can't figure out how to beat this, like, his competitor, and turns into a monster. He flips the board, basically. He's like, I don't care about this, and turns into a monster. And his main thing is, as he goes around the city, turning people into mahjong kind of pieces, or at least chess pieces, but not the standard chess piece that we know today. But he decides to turn everybody into it, and the Don brothers start fighting. But Oni's sister is about to be defeated until Sonny jumps in and actually defends her, and everyone's like, what the hell? This brings in Momotari, who literally just throws rocks. He's like, look at me, I am this person, and just throws rocks, and everyone just goes, what? What the hell? But I kind of like one of them that starts laughing. He's like, that sounds like it's a genuine laugh rather than I'm practicing, which he's done. So we now come to Don Brothers Black, who is basically walking, and he sees the police chief, which I don't like the police chief in this because we obviously know he's a bestial. He's going in to kind of go attack. And so rather than be like shouting, he turns into like this zombie sort of like roaring. And I'm just like, do we need this in here? It just seems a bit kind of weird. So Don Brothers Black basically jumps on a bike and runs off, and he bumps into Pink's wife, who basically gets hurt because she basically fell over because he almost ran her over. One thing that made me think about this is I feel that she's being kind of changed. She used to be Natsumi, who he was in love with, but then all of a sudden, like, she doesn't remember him, and he literally says, hey, it's me, it's me. And she's like, oh, I don't know you, and then falls on the ground afterwards and, has to go to hospital. Everybody's met with Momotari, but he turns around and says, hey, we're all friends, like, I'm your leader now, this is what we're gonna do, and everyone kind of rejects him straight away. Pink hears that his wife is in the hospital, so he rushes off, and then the others just kind of disappear because they want to go to the cafe to say, hey, if we have wishes, can we use them to bring back Don Momotaro? That's who we want to do. And thus, therefore, it's like, kind of not. To kind of wrap this up, Momotaro actually comes back, and because Oni's sister is shouting his name because she needs him there to kind of join the team, and thus, therefore, he comes back. He turns into his robot mode. They all turn into robots, and they all kind of combine to make the Megazord. And as they kind of destroyed the main bad guy in this one, they turn around and say like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad you're back," and he just disappears. There's a thing, he just disappears, and I was just like, oh, okay. But I kind of really wish that he didn't come back because it felt to me like it didn't need to happen, and it felt a bit different. But obviously everyone is now kind of wondering what's going on. With Pink finding out about his wife and going back to see if she's okay, he then gets really angry, and you can see that he's now going to transform into a monster. And with Pink transforming into the monster, and that's going to be the main takeaway from this, I'm kind of really liking it because I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how the core dynamic of the team's going to change, or if he's able to use his powers when turning into the monster. So it would be really cool if he was able to turn into previous monsters that we've seen, hence creating a Dark Dawn Brother or something like that. I think that would be kind of really cool. And that was it. That's all it is. This episode wasn't that great in my eyes. I generally kind of liked some elements, but I feel like having Don Momotaro there, I would like to see him come back in a few episodes. Not just come back and be like, I'm helping out, guys. See you later, boy. But I kind of liked it. I think this episode wasn't as strong as last week's. Next week might be stronger, but for now, it's kind of up and down. Do I enjoy it? Yes, I do. Will I be continuing to watch it? Yes, because I generally like the series. But I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments or in chat right now. And with that, I'm going to leave there. My name is Mark. I run the channel Heirloom. Come check me out over at youtube.com/Heirloom, as well as on Instagram, as well as Twitch. And on Twitter, you can find me at Mainstream Live. Thank you very much for watching this segment. And if I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll see you next week. Bye!
Yo.
Thank you so much, Heirloom, for that amazing, Henshin Hangout for Dawn Brothers. I am super interested to watch Dawn Brothers. Jezza and I are figuring out ways to watch it. We don't want you to download anything illegally, but you gotta watch what you gotta watch. I do have a question.
We also had a super chat during the...
Oh yeah, we did have a super chat. Let's address it.
DDT is a poser says, do you think they will release a Lightning collection of Shattered Grid Sentries as a Comic-Con exclusive, or maybe a Shattered Grid Finster? What do you think?
Both figures, I absolutely
That is one thing I'm excited
I can
about,
easily see.
because they have to release a Comic-Con, right?
Go ahead.
Something.
You'd assume so. You'd assume that, and we know that Hasbro will have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con. So we have to assume that we're getting some type of Power Ranger Lightning Collection exclusive. I'd love to see a Shattered Grid Finster.
That would be cool.
I'd also love to see a what is it called? Soul of the Dragon Finster too, which I think would be really cool.
Soul of the Dragon.
I'd like to see both. So there's a big rumor in Power Rangers going around right now that I've heard, and the big rumor is that we are going to get a show announcement either in July or August. Leaning more towards August. I don't know if that coincides with Power Morphicon. I would kind of doubt it, but we are led to believe that we are going to get some type of show announcement for what the 30th season is supposed to be around July or August. So Ranger fans, stay tuned. Is the more that we find out about it, obviously, the more we'll update you about it. But that's the latest we're hearing. I'm not going to put that into a article or a news report because I know how many fans blow things up and take things crazy. But we are reporting that live here on the Ranger Wrap Up. This is what you tune into the show for, right?
You slid that in there real sly. Like, what? Come on, man.
Well, listen. Here's the thing. I don't want to clickbait everybody and be like, oh, the Illuminerdi is talking about when they're going to reveal the 30th anniversary. As of right now, it states we're going to state this as a rumor. We're hearing rumblings that July or August is when we'll get the anniversary, or not anniversary announcement. We'll get the 30th season announcement, whatever that's going to look like. So stay tuned. But yeah, we also have the Super Chat feature that helps support the show, which the Blue just used. And the Super Chat, he says, do you think Morphicon is setting up an Overdrive
reunion?
Ooh, that's real interesting.
What do you think, Joe?
Well, we do have Banta, Samuel Banta, coming back to Morphicon from his long exiled
I know
exiled
there's a
stay
few
at
fans that
Morphicon.
don't want him back.
That's an interesting.
I guess he's coming back.
It's going to be very interesting with that panel. I do like the cast of Overdrive. I've yet to meet Samuel Banta, so I can't speak on him.
Who's your favorite?
But we have interviewed Yellow.
Yeah.
But Ronnie. I love Ronnie.
That would be cool.
She's great. I'm a big fan of that cast kind of in general. So I'm really interested to see if that is going to be the reunion. Because if it is the reunion at Morphicon, guess who's going to be moderating the panel? Somebody from the Ranger Wrap-Up. That is going to be a fact. What's up, Larry Newbill? It's great to see you in the chat. Amazing. Look, man, I can't help but notice that you're watching Dino Fury in the background.
Yeah. It's season 2. I think
right
it's
now
season 2.
I'm seeing some Void Knight
I think
action.
it's
Season 2.
He's got a little.
Season 2 really picks up the action in Power Rangers Dino Fury, and there's a lot more original footage. One thing I absolutely love about the show is the cast chemistry on Power Rangers Dino Fury. I'm curious to see where the second half of season 2 goes. But, instead of me having all my theories, let's just hear what Fan Club has to say with his.
I can't do this on my own, cause you know things ain't always sweet when you out here in these streets. But my morpher when it morph, I made a fake.
How do the Rangers get the Dino Master mode? Will we get Slither and Mucus action figures? What is this new weapon that we see the Rangers have? Does it have more effects built into it? There's a lot of fan theories coming at you today, and we got to shout out the homie Amarion Parker. He gave us some really amazing, and when I mean amazing, I mean top 10 fan theories. Some of them are wacky, and some of them make a lot of sense. Shout out all of the fans out there, and yo, we're gonna do a double shout out just because this is our first ever gold power-up membership, but we finally got a Gold Ranger power-up. Guys, if you want to become a member, help out the fan club. Willie Maloney, you are the first Gold Ranger power-up. We love you, man. Thank you for helping out the fan club. Shout out to Marion Parker for all of these amazing fan theories. So first, let's get into the beginning of his fan theories, all right? So first is, will we get a Slither and Mucus action figure? Will we get a Wreckmate action figure? He said, I really enjoyed the Beast Morphers toy line because we had almost every villain. And to answer your question, Commander Shaw is coming back, right? So that could help the Rangers get the Dino Master mode. Maybe that's how they get it. We can't forget that she's coming back to the show, right? That is a really good point, bud. What if she has something to do with the Dino Master mode? What if she has something to do with that new weapon? Now, let's get into some of his voicemails.
Bro, I do believe you're right with, Dino Fury coming to Netflix, fall, in the winter when it's cold outside, everybody coming in and, want to watch TV and Netflix and Hulu and, just a lot of stuff that the kids do tend to watch. And cable, cable is still being used, but not like it used to be because, well, now there's Netflix and, Tubi and you got Hulu. So, cable is still a thing, but a lot of people are on Netflix more because Netflix is adding, a lot more on Netflix original movies and shows. And, they've added Fairly Odd Parents. I think even Ninja Turtles. So they're adding, a lot of new shows onto Netflix. And then what they're doing that is fine, I'm glad, but with the toy line, again, it's kind of disappointing because we don't even get a Slither. They even released a Boom Tower before we even see his debut on the show. We had Boom Tower figures, we had a Dino Fury Morpher, we had a Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, and a Pink Ranger figure, and that's all we had for Wave 1. But we're not even getting a Wreckmate, a Mucus, or even a Slither. And that's what I hate. We can't even get the villains. We can't even get a Snag Eye here figure. But we have a Void King. But what about the other figures and villains that we had? And even just regular Sporix Beast.
You know what? That is a good point, my friend. The Ranger line, what they have given us for the Dino Fury line has been pretty good. I can't even really complain about the quality and the figures that they're giving out. There's just not a lot. And I think that goes back to the point I've made several times. I think that they're really banking on this next project. They're working on getting this next thing going. I don't know if this is going to be a for sure thing that you're going to get to see all of the villains, even though it would be cool if they could make a 2-pack combo with Slither and Mucus. How cool would that be? I'd pay about $14.99 for the 2-pack combo. That would be baller. Or they could do the Lightning Collection 2-pack. But at the end of the day, it would be really cool to see Slither and Mucus. We did see a Snag Eye-esque figure. I forget what they were called, but they made those 2-packs. And I think it came with a Void Knight figure. But that's about it. You're right, homie. There aren't a lot of villains. And I did enjoy that the Beast Morpher line did have a lot more villains.
And just other stuff that we may get, and that's what's upsetting. We can't even get modern day Sporix Beast. The one who switched people and just Sporix, Shockhorn, and just a lot of other sports beasts that have did their evil in Dino Fury. We don't even get a figure or a key for them. And the Twin Raptor Zord, the Dimetro Blazing Zord, even the Packer Smash Zord, we don't even get those. But like you said, I think you're onto something. Like, they were modeling the Moses Zord, and they give it that fin that flips up, like, right there by the nose. And they gave it that. So I will believe we will get this, we will get a different Zords combinations. But as far as I know, I don't think we're going to get any. And they basically teased the rest of the toys that we're going to get this year, like a Void King, Mega Fury Saber, and then you got the Dino Master Mode Gold Ranger, and then you got the Terra Freeze Battle Armor Blue Ranger. And then I think that was it. I think those are all the rest of the toys we're going to get from Dino Fury this year. And it's like really sad because in Beast Morphers we got a lot more. We have every villain that ever came out, we had a figure for. And now to see how come they can't do that for Dino Fury.
Yeah, I don't know 100% why they can't do that for Dino Fury. It is a little sad and infuriating, but I think at the end of the day that maybe the Beast Morpher line did not sell as good as they thought it was going to, and they had a lot of the villains sitting on the shelves. Now, and I know this from experience, guys, towards the end of the Beast Morpher line, Walmart had most of these figures for $4 to $5, and that's how I want to say I've got like 20 figures that are all different from the Beast Morpher line. I don't think I have the whole line or anything. It's pretty close. I think I'm missing a couple, but I have a bunch of figures, and I didn't pay 10 to 15 bucks a piece for them. I paid like $4 to $5 for them, meaning a lot of these got clearanced out. I don't see any Dino Fury stuff on the clearance racks ever. You know why? Because they're pushing out the right number of products now. They're not putting out a crap ton because it's not going to sell if they put out a crap ton. Great example. You guys remember Space Jam? Would that come out last year? Was it last year, right? Good old Space Jam 2 or whatever. When the first line came out of toys, I know I picked it up. A lot of people picked it up, and they sold out right away. So what did they do? They put the line back on the shelves, and it didn't, dude, it's still sitting there at my Target and Walmart, and now they're clearancing it because they sold out of that first load of the fans, the old Space Jam fans like me. We were all buying those toys, and I'm buying those to collect them. You know, they're Space Jam 2 toys. Someday, those LeBron James, those Damian Lillard figures, they're going to be worth some money. I'm not dumb. But no one's buying it for the second or third time around. It wasn't that good of a movie. You feel me? Power Rangers, the first load or two, it's going to get sold out. I know that's always how it is with the Lightning collection figures and the Dino Fury figures. If you load up too much of them, now it's not too much. When you get a giant lot, if it's not like a huge toy, if it's not like maybe, what are the kids on these days? I know Pokemon's still big, whatever the top 3 toys are right now. If it's not that, these toys are going to sit there for a while, and they have a chance to lose their value because they're going to get clearance because they're just going to sit there and sit there. So maybe with Dino Fury, they wanted to kind of do the opposite of what they did last time, and I think it's been pretty successful, but it sucks for the fans because they dialed down a lot of toys. I mean, let's just be honest here. The stuff that they've been putting out is good. It's pretty good. There's no problem, but there's just way less, like Amarion said. So, shout out Amarion. I love when dude be chiming in. He's got amazing fan theories, and we're not done yet. Actually, he's got way more. He said, bro, what you said matched my fan theory. You said it reminds you of the Mystic Force Rangers. Yes, that Dino Master mode kind of does. I said that in the last video, and now he goes crazy. This is the world of being a fan. I say something, and it inspires other people, and you guys do this to me with your fan theories all the time. He said, and I believe the Red Mystic Force Ranger, his parents could be the fallen Dino Fury Knights. Oh, that's interesting. And don't forget, in Nate's lab from Beast Morphers, they have all sorts of weapons and Ranger things, even Rangers from back in the day, from every season up until the Beast Morpher era. Yes, they've got weapons, morphers, they got everything. He said his fan theory is that the green sword is a saber charge of Morphex. That's that new sword that we're seeing the Gold and Red Ranger have in their Dino Knight mode. There's a few pictures we've seen of this. So there's this new sword. Some people have called it like a chroma rainbow saber. I don't know what it's called yet. He says Commander Shaw introduces a new energy source to the Dino Fury Rangers, and Ali and Solon and Commander Shaw come together and build a saber that runs off of Morph X and helps the Rangers in the long run. Ooh. What do you guys think there? That is a fan theory. Like I said, today is all about the fans. We're giving you guys some good fan theories. Yo. And then he's got one more. He says, I've got a question for all of the fans out there. And he says, he wanted me to add this in the video, which I got this, all right? He says, how do they feel about this Power Ranger toy season compared to the last one? More specifically, how do they feel about the Beast Morpher season, getting a monster figure for every monster, including some monsters of the day from the show, and for Dino Fury not to get any general figures like Slither, Wreckmate, not a real Snag Eye figure, which that's true. They got him in that one kind of brand, but it looks more, preschooly than anything. And more to be released in Dino Fury's second half of Season 2 when it comes to the villains, and not getting any Sporix Beast figures. Yeah, that's sad, man. Let me know what you guys think. He does have a couple more that I'll kind of get out there and pick your guys' brain on. Could Pop and the girl he's dating be Void Princess and Void Prince? Oh, God, I didn't even think of that. That is one of those wacky ones. Or could it be Amelia and Ali? Ooh, that would be dope. I believe Amelia is Void Princess, but gets together with Ali and he becomes Void Prince. But we can't forget Pop knows something we don't about Area 62. Yes, Pop is keeping something from us. What is it, guys? Man, this is an almighty episode today. Shout out to Marion. He brought his A game. This is just a great video. And shout out to our gold member. We got a Gold Ranger Power Up member. They paid to get in the video and shouted out. Shout out Willie Maloney. If you guys want to be a Gold Ranger member, sign up today. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching the fan club, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Yo.
Man, that game looks so much
looks
fun.
better. I honestly think it looks better.
Looks better. Did we get a super chat somewhere in there, or did we address it? I think we addressed it.
Yeah, we addressed it. The Operation Overdrive reunion from the Blur. So that's cool.
Oh, that's right. That is right. Well, look, that was a great fan theory. Thank you so much, fan club, for giving us that fan theory of the week. I got to ask you, Jezzer, since you have Dino Fury playing in the background, what are you looking forward to Dino Fury Season 2 Part B on Netflix?
I'm looking forward to maybe seeing if Lord Zed still has an arc at the end of part 2.
Oh!
Yeah, well, where's your phone?
Did I show you? I'll send it to you after this.
What is that?
There's a little bit of Lord Zed information that I have for you. That we should run it at some point, but
definitely.
It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting.
Who do you think would know a little bit more about what's coming on Season 2, though?
I would assume people that were either on the show or worked as a part of the show, they probably know a little bit about what Season 2 has in store for Power Rangers Dino Fury. And I think right now is a great time to check in with myself, talking to Tessa and Hunter about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 Part B on Netflix. Okay, guys. Hunter, Tessa, thank you guys so much for joining me for this interview. Dino Fury Season 2 is currently airing on Netflix, and it is incredible. I never thought I would get to a moment in my life where I would have a little one watching Power Rangers and embellishing it with me. And it is so crazy because I tried introducing her to the Mighty Morphin cast and she was about it. But then as soon as we saw Dino Fury, she could not stop watching it. And luckily being on Netflix, we just binged right through it. And my girlfriend, I had to explain to her, hey, this is work. So this was the perfect excuse for me to enjoy Power Rangers with her. And congratulations on being on Netflix, guys. How's it feel?
Wow, I just love everything you said. But
that makes everything.
Yeah. And I was just saying, it feels great because of that. I mean, as soon as you see one episode, you can just watch the rest of them. Well, I mean, there is one half left, but you know what I mean.
There is one half left. I mean,
it's bingeability.
Right. Upon my research, which I didn't really know, but Power Rangers is ranked, I think, like 22nd of the longest running television series of all time. So that's number one. That's pretty impressive. But a question about your characters. Now, Hunter, you play Amelia, and Tessa, you play Izzy. Can you talk to me about the evolution of your characters from season 1 to season 2? And we'll start with you, Hunter.
Wow. I feel like, honestly, the evolution of Amelia hasn't really been fully shown yet. I think a lot of her arc is in this last half that isn't out yet. I think we get some answers and Amelia gets some great opportunities. So I just think that, I don't know, I feel like with the last half of season 2, you'll get to see her evolution the most.
And how about you, Tessa? How can you talk to me about the evolution of Izzy from season 1 to season 2? Because there's been some major Izzy episodes that I would say are instant classics.
Oh, I mean, I hope so. That's really cool. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things from season 1 to season 2 is just that Izzy, when you first meet her, she's so focused on sport and you know, achieving as high as she can in that area. And I think over the course of the first season, and then even still moving into the second season, she's continuously learning that there are other things that are important, that there are other things you've got to prioritize, that you know, treating people the right way and all those sorts of things are like really important too. And she learns that in season 1 for sure. But I think that it's an always ever evolving process for her of like kind of learning, I think, as a lot of teenagers are as well, like what is important in their lives as they're growing older. And maybe what can take a back step and isn't quite as important as it was when you were a couple of years younger, you know?
Absolutely. Now, Tessa, what did you want to bring to the role of Izzy that wasn't necessarily on the page? And then same question for you, Hunter, but we'll get there in just a second.
I think that like she's got a lot of like sassy, sarcastic comments, which part of me feels it as the writers kept going and they saw that I loved them so much, they were like, all right, let's play into it. You know what I mean? But I think that's something that I didn't necessarily see straight away, but loved in Izzy is that she's also got this really innocent, excitable energy that I feel I really wanted to bring to her, especially as she's the youngest member of the team. She's already a Power Rangers fan before she becomes one. Like anyone that's excelling in any field obviously has like drive and focus, and that comes a lot of time with passion. So I wanted her to be a very passionate person. And I think that like that was definitely sprinkled within the script already, but I feel like the sweet kind of innocent vibe to her that contrasts with her sarcasm was something that I feel like I wanted to bring to the page.
Amazing. And Hunter, how about you with Amelia?
Well, she starts off as this very just like driven and I'm going to use the same word, passionate person about her job. I think she's very passionate about, you know, like finding ghosts and making sure she's doing a good job at Buzzblast and, you know, making Jane a very happy boss. So I think when she becomes a ranger, she just like kind of takes that in as another thing that she just like shares her passion with. And I think it's something that actually fits and it becomes very fluid in her life. Like I feel like there wasn't too much of an adjustment period for her to be so passionate about the team and like wanting to make sure that we're all safe and we get everything done together and we work together, because I feel like she just had that same attitude in the like workplace.
Right.
So if anything, I just feel like maybe I just added a little bit of myself to Amelia that's not on the script, because I feel like we're very similar. So I just wanted to make her a little bit more relatable and not so businessy.
Sure. Now, Hunter, on that same note, many actors say they learn about themselves by playing a character through empathy. What have you learned about yourself from playing Amelia?
Oh, wow. So I feel like we're very close to the same people in a sense of we're very optimistic and positive, and we always just see like the best in everyone and everything. And I think I always thought that for myself as well, but I think Amelia taught me a lot, and I want to be a lot more like Amelia, like when I grow up. I know that sounds silly to say because she's an 18-year-old character and I'm 26, but I definitely feel like I've personally learned a lot from her in a sense of like teamwork and leadership and just making the best of all the situations and knowing that the people that she has surrounded herself with are there for her. So I feel like I've taken that into my life with the people around myself. So I really appreciate that, actually.
Amazing. Now, Tessa, same question to you. What have you learned about yourself through Izzy's experience?
I think it's so hard because a lot of things, like a lot of, not even just as Izzy, but like in the process of filming the show, I think you also learn so much about yourself. So it's quite hard to sort of differentiate with whether that's something that you learned directly from Izzy or if you learned it from the people around you on set or the experience you were having, that sort of thing. I definitely think I have an ability to be very sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, like tunnel vision about things. Like if I'm focused on getting something done, I don't necessarily pay attention to like what else is going on. So I'll be like more likely to leave something behind or forget something that I was meant to do or that kind of thing. And I think that like seeing that through Izzy, I was like, oh, that's something that you do that a lot. Like you can maybe be a bit more aware of what's going on around you. But also like I always ask myself now, what would Izzy do? Especially when it's like something about like being motivated to go to the gym or getting that last thing on the to-do list left. I'm like, what would Izzy do? She would not have any excuses. She would have already been and she would have already done it. So like, what are you doing? And that's like really helpful for me. It's actually, I feel like it's changed my life in a lot of ways, which I didn't expect, but it's been really cool.
That's amazing. Now, Tessa, I got to ask, because we talked about these instant classic episodes, and season 2 has one of them right up. It's Stitched Up, right? It's one of my favorite episodes. Me and my family actually watched it all together. I didn't really, I mean, at the time we were watching, just binging it through, but we sat down and actually watched that one together, and it caught us in a different way. There's a lot to unpack in that episode. But the real question I have for you is, what is it like to be an inspiration for LGBTQ kids out there and people around the world everywhere? Because look, Power Rangers, for what it is, at its best, it is that moment in that episode. So just what does it feel like to represent that?
It's an incredible honor. I've always been someone that feels it's really important to not only represent an honest reflection of what society looks like, but do it in the most honest and grounded way without romanticizing it or any that sort of thing. And that's really hard to do, especially in a kid's show. That's so hard to achieve. And I have to give credit to the writers and Simon for a lot of that, most of that, because that came really through in the writing. And so then to be able to sort of, it's my really first big role, like step into a character that has that, it's incredibly humbling. And I hope that I'm, doing it justice. I want to do it the best I can at it. So yeah, I'm just really, really grateful for the opportunity.
And I definitely think, sorry, I just wanted to tell you, Tessa, that I definitely think like Izzy was written one way, but I definitely think that you bring her to life and you make her who she is, 100%.
Oh,
thanks, Hunter.
I love that.
Same with you.
Honestly, it is such an amazing episode. And even when all the other Rangers come out in the limo, like my little girl was like in tears. It was so cute. I love that episode. But look, you talked about it yourself. We got to give credit to the writers this season because wow, amazing. And sometimes I'll look away and I'll just hear these like one-line zingers and I'm like, whoa, that was hilarious. So credit to the writing this season. Absolutely. Hunter, question for you. This is one from my little girl. She asks, how close are we to learning about what happened to Amelia's parents?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll just have to wait.
Good answer. Good answer. Tessa, question for you, because look, the cast chemistry that you guys all have together is phenomenal. You guys really gel really well together. But your off-screen brother, Chance, can you talk to me about working with him and the chemistry you guys developed off-screen?
Yeah, it's so fun working with him. Hunter will agree. He's like so fun. He's so energetic. He's like a little kid sometimes. He really is like a little kid, which was quite funny because he played the older brother. But I definitely feel like even in Harvey and Izzy's relationship, there are definitely moments where Izzy's like, Harvey, get it together. And he's like, what? Like, and I feel like that sometimes on set that was maybe a little bit of me and Chance. I'd be like, come on, like we've got to be serious.
Sure.
And he's like, this is fun, you know? And I think that is like we both kind of learnt things from each other in that regard, and vice on screen as well. Izzy and Harvey sort of learned those moments from each other. And in pre-production, we spent a good amount of time sort of developing that relationship. I think it was fairly instantaneous because we just have a very similar sense of humor, and I actually know someone that was in his boy band that he was in, which was a really crazy, we didn't realize it was happening. So that kind of an initial connection meant that I felt a bit more comfortable being like, oh, you know this guy, like let's get to know each other. And then just the acting stuff like we did with our acting coach Ella throughout the beginning, those things really made me feel like this is my brother, like this my dude, you know?
That's awesome. Now, Hunter, look, another one. I think my little girl really wants this Amelia Ollie thing to work out. So I have to ask, it seems like they're getting closer as the show progresses. Is there anything you can tease about their relationship? By the way, I love your chemistry with Kai as well. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty fun. You know, I have an older brother who I bicker with a lot. So I kind of just like tapped into that world. Because I feel like that's the relationship we had in season 1, especially with him just doubting everything that I believe in. But
I love that.
Just, you know, he comes around towards the the last half of the first, or like the last few episodes of, you know, like the first half that's out. And I just think that you'll be able to see some more of that. I think he's just like realizing that we're a team. And I think that like, I don't know, it's just really nice to hear that he's like, actually accepting these things and is like, fine, well, I'm going to give you an opportunity instead of just shutting me right down. And I think that that's fantastic. I think it shows a lot of growth for his character, for my character, and our bickering relationship. So
now Power Rangers is such a unique experience as an actor because it's really a one-stop shop for everything in entertainment. Not only are you guys acting, you guys are doing stunt choreography, you guys are doing ADR. It is incredible. I think it's really underappreciated how much you guys are actually doing just in like the terms of Hollywood, right? Because those are long hours, and I think you guys are shooting something like 3 episodes a week. So credit to you guys. The question I have about this Power Ranger boot camp is, what are some of the biggest takeaways that you're going to be used with you for the rest of your career, just based on that experience alone? And we'll start with you, Hunter.
I don't know. I figured out that I like routine. So like, even though it's like long hours and we never really know when we're going to wrap, the fact that I woke up most mornings at 4:30 to get picked up and go to set, I was okay with that. Like, I was like, okay, like, this is it. I'm going to work today. I'm going to see my best friends, you know, like I'm going to go see people who make me smile every day. So for me personally, I figured out that I actually like a routine, even if it does involve me waking up at 4:30 most mornings.
That's incredible. Tessa, how about you? Because look, voice acting or the ADR alone is it opens so many different opportunities for you guys as actors. Just out of curiosity, can you talk to me about your own experience with the Power Ranger boot camp?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, I remember one of the first days someone said, this is like actors boot camp. Like you get this incredible, like, devastation. Is that the right word? Is that a good word to use? Of like all these different skills that you might have had some small experience in, but most likely you haven't had consistent long periods of experience. And especially with something like ADR, you know, so many actors go through heaps of jobs and might do like one ADR session for that job. And so then down the line, 10 years down the line, they have a job that has to have heaps of ADR, and they're not used to what you need to do in that setting. And we had that time given to us. Like, it was such a privilege to have. It really was. Same with stunts, same with all of those things. So I just think I left feeling more equipped in certain areas of my craft, but also like with a confidence that I didn't have before.
Yes.
And also like a confirmation that this is what I want to do. I think that sometimes you get worried that if it's still a job, it's 9 months of a long job and long hours, like Hunter said, getting up at 4:30 in the morning. Like after a while, there's not just like this tint of, oh my God, I'm on TV, like you're working.
Sure.
But if you go through all of those things and you're still enjoying it and it's still what you love to do at the end of the day, it's like, oh cool, I'm where I'm meant to be. And that I never stopped feeling that. So yeah.
You know what? That's an incredible answer, because I hadn't thought of it that way, because you guys are such young actors and really just really thrust into it full on. And that's a long period of time to be away from home. I guess, Tessa, in your case, I mean, I know that you're from New Zealand, but still it's a long period of time to be on something. So knowing by the end of it, if this is still what you want to do, it's a great way to test that out. So I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Another question I have for you guys is, look, Power Rangers, especially in Dino Fury, especially, season 2, the action is top notch. I feel like it's just gotten better and better and better. How much are you guys actually putting into the physical aspect of Power Rangers? Because it seems like you guys are doing a lot more of the physical stuff outside of the suits than maybe in previous seasons. And that's for either of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we had 3 weeks of training beforehand. And when we have what we call a civvy fight outside of our suits, we can get anywhere from like 2-3 days of rehearsal to an hour of rehearsal. So I know for like our little sword balloon fight, we actually learned it in Buzz Blast. I have a video of it. We learned it in Buzz Blast, and then we got like one other practice, and then we like kind of spent like the first half of the day just doing it.
It was all different to what we'd learned. It was a lot of it was different.
Things change, because we learned in Buzz Blast, but we did it at Dino Pin. So like obviously conditions are going to change and things are going to either be better or like that doesn't work out or look good. So obviously what we learned wasn't exactly what we did, but then there's also fights that we have that we literally go to set and learn and then shoot it.
Whew. That is incredible. Have you guys finished your ADR for the end of the second season?
Unfortunately, yeah. I think Simon tweeted the other day that the last episode was completely done edited, and I was just like, oh my God, that means it's so soon to being out, and I just can't wait.
Well, I want to talk about that for a second, because if I'm not mistaken, Simon directed the final 2 episodes of Dino Fury season 2. What does his directing style add to Power Rangers Dino Fury?
Wow, I just think because he's so tapped into the story, he just knew exactly what he wanted. And like, he also just like listened to what we thought about it, and we kind of just like made things work. And I feel like it just went so smoothly, because on both aspects of it, like us as the characters and like him as a director and EP, just like we both knew what we were doing. So we just like meshed really well together.
That's incredible.
And he also loves it. Like directing is such a passion of his. Like he is,
and you can tell
when he was even on set as a director, he was like talking about how much he loved like this aspect of the show that that's not part of your job as like an EP as much, and he's obviously been involved in the entire thing from start to finish. But I think for him as well as us to get to like in those final episodes, he was doing this part of the job that he loves, and we're finally getting to work with him like more one-on-one day in day out, as opposed to like seeing him here and there. But when we found out, we were like just waiting. We were like, oh my God, it's gonna be so cool to finally get to work with him properly. And it was. Hunter's completely correct. It went so well.
I mean, we like met him, and like we would have meetings with him and like one-on-one talks about our characters and all that stuff. But like the majority of the time, we wouldn't see him that much on set. So like it would be at like table reads and like the rehearsals and things about our characters that we would talk to him. So when we found out that, I mean, I was just really excited that he was going to be on set every day for those last 2 episodes, because then, I don't know, just the ending of season 2 is just very, very mind-blowing. So just for him to be such a big part of the story, but also get to direct it as well, I feel like it's going to be beautiful. So excited.
Amazing. When I spoke to the Beast Morphers cast a couple years ago, they told me that they were recommended to watch Power Rangers RPM. Your first season of Power Rangers Dino Fury, we saw the return of Lord Zed, the iconic Lord Zed, returned in your guys' season, and we actually got a physical fight with Lord Zed in that first season. If you guys had to kind of inform the fans of, like, you know, if you can go back and watch any one season to kind of help inform where you guys are going for the second part of your Dino Fury season 2, what season or what episode would you recommend, if any at all? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I honestly don't even know if there is one.
Yeah. I mean, if
Like,
anything, I do think that like the episode with Mick from Ninja Steel, if you don't know like who Mick was and like where he comes from, maybe that could get a little confusing.
Gotcha.
Or maybe I understood the question wrong.
No, just so essentially Hunter, you kind of answered, like, you know, Ninja Steel is something that Mick was a part of, maybe understanding a little bit of his
to inform,
would kind of help inform what's going to happen on our second
yeah,
part.
I would agree with that.
And then obviously the original with Lord Zed, for people to know who Lord Zed is.
Yeah.
Morphin season 2, that OG
Yeah.
stuff. Huh?
Yeah.
But I also think they do a really good job of bringing in those characters and showing moments from like previous seasons or things like that, that if you are coming in as a new viewer or as a younger viewer that didn't have the opportunity to watch those seasons or whatever, it's very clear, I think. Basically,
Yeah.
I think they give you what you need. But if you know more, then you're gonna find more within those scenes, you know, to really enjoy and bite into.
You know, Power Rangers is also such a fascinating or such a different experience than any other really television show, because there really are legacy seasons. For example, it just carries on and on and on and on, much like Doctor Who does in the UK. For any future Rangers that may be cast just in the future at some point in time, what words of advice, based on your own experience, would you give those?
To trust yourself. I think you're in that position for a reason, and the people who put you there saw it and they believed in you. So I think just to trust yourself and be yourself with it, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I think like imposter syndrome is something that is really easy to have just in general. But especially when you're coming up to it, like when it's about a show is like you say, as epic and as long running as Power Rangers or Doctor Who or anything like that. Like, there is a pressure, and I think taking a step back from that and sort of practicing a bit of mindfulness, practicing that you can't control what's going to happen, you can only control what you do, like, and just giving it your best. If it's meant to be, it will happen. And like that goes for anything, not just for a particular audition or getting a role, anything. Like, if you work hard, if it's meant to be, it will be.
Absolutely. Now, is there any past Rangers that may have given you guys advice in order just, you know, any kind of advice during your time and duration on the show, or even now after it? Since there's tons of conventions out there, there's tons of appearances. So just any words of advice that you've gotten from any past cast members?
I'm actually just talking to Geordie. Weber. And he was helping me. He was talking to me about giving me some advice about possibly coming to the States to visit. So that is a cool advice. I think Hunter knew, like, I knew a couple of Rangers beforehand, and we got some messages from people. I know Hunter knew quite a few from previous seasons as well. I remember that Russell got one from, I can't remember who it was now, but someone said, sleep whenever you can.
I think if you can
take a nap, maybe if you could, or Yoshi maybe, I can't remember. Like, if you can sleep. I didn't necessarily take that advice. Russell 100% did.
He totally did.
He 100. If he could take a sleep, he would take a nap.
I got similar advice. I think Michael Tabor, he was green in Dino Charge. He's actually a really, really, really good friend of mine. So he was just like, be prepared for long hours. Take a book, take a coloring book, take whatever you want with you. You'll have some downtime some days, you know, but just be prepared to be there all day.
It's amazing.
I was like, that's fine. I'd love to.
That's what we've been waiting for. That's what we've been wanting.
I don't envy your guys' hours, but I'm sure at the end it's all worth it. Now, we're on the precipice of the 30th anniversary of this iconic series. I mean, I can't believe 30 years is probably older than the both of you. Which is incredible that this show's been on so long. So Power Rangers being on for 30 long years, what would you like to see in its 30th anniversary?
That's a good question.
It'd be cool to bring us all back.
Okay, all the Rangers, every single Power Ranger,
But can you
that has
imagine?
ever existed.
It would be like a 5-hour movie, and we would all just have one line.
It would have to be its own series. I feel like
It would have to be
Surely.
like 4 seasons, because we each just get one episode.
Right. Well, I mean, that even opens up the question, because there's a ton of rumors flying around that past Rangers are set to return for this 30th anniversary. I'm assuming that both of you guys would love to be involved in that, correct?
That would be an opportunity I think all of us would snatch in a heartbeat.
You let us know if you not, because I was saying this just before, the fans always know more than us.
Always know.
I'll get sent something in the group chat and it's like a link to something, and I'm like, is this happening? Oh yeah, no, it's happening. Did anyone know? No. But like the fans have known it for 3 days and I've just been out of it. So if you hear anything about what's going to happen,
you just dropped a story. You can check that
tell
out.
us.
We'll check it out
okay.
after.
Okay.
We'll check that after.
No, in all honesty, I mean, this is one of the greatest shows, because I feel like it really does, and a lot of the actors are so willing to come back to the franchise and help promote it, and it really does transcend like generations. Like I said, I've never would have imagined me some 30 years later watching this with my kid. You know what I mean? It's insane to me, but here we are, right? Speaking on the 30th anniversary, what are you most looking forward to for the future of Power Rangers? Now being on Netflix, I feel like it really opens the doors for a lot of other opportunities. Mainly something that Russell said to me not too long ago when I interviewed him. He was like, since it is on Netflix, and since there is so much more, you guys were doing so much more American footage, why not Dino Fury season 3? Why not Dino Fury season 3, right?
Call everybody right now and pitch that idea.
Pitch
that idea.
I mean,
is that something that can happen?
It seems like to me, it seems like you guys already used one of the monsters from the previous season, from Tokuger, which is another one of the Japanese series. It seems like there's enough of you guys shoot enough of the American footage where it could easily be done. At least from my humble opinion, it seems like it would be ripe for the pickings for a Dino Fury season 3. Or are you telling me that Dino Fury season 2 kind of ends in a way that it doesn't lend itself to a season 3?
That you aren't going to get a word out of us on that. Yeah. Now that
but
very careful.
But I mean,
drop that one in there.
Correct. Yeah. So we obviously can't answer that. But if you know somebody to call about this idea, that would be really cool.
I can't imagine any of us wouldn't be on board.
For sure.
That would be mean.
We all would love an opportunity to tap back into our Rangers.
I also think, like you said, it's a 30th anniversary, right? Like that's massive. It's such a long time for a show to be running and to be still so successful. So I feel like no matter what it is, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I want to.
I'm so excited.
I mean, look, let's leave the door open for this possible 3rd season of Dino Fury. But let me ask you guys another question about your characters. And you don't have to answer in quite a lot of detail, but do you think there is room to explore your characters beyond the 2nd season? Do you think that there's more exploration that those characters can go through beyond the 2nd season?
I think a lot of our characters give a lot of life, and I think we all have very different stories that actually happen to coincide very nicely together. So I definitely think our stories would never be over.
Yeah. I feel like we could always find more stuff, but that's also I feel like that's a lot of shows sometimes as well. Like they'll be like, we could just keep doing this, and sometimes it's too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like something that I always did really love about Rangers is that there's this opportunity for a new cast, new story, new, so but I don't mean, that would be mean.
I'd be interested to see where they would take our characters too, to be honest.
Yeah.
The reason I even thought of this was because as we were watching it and as the first half of the 2nd season wrapped up, I had a 6-year-old that looked at me like, there's no more, right? So that was one of those things where it's like, well, just saying it's on Netflix. I feel like there can be more than just one Power Ranger property running at the same time. There's no reason why.
That's true.
Season 3. There's a comic book, you know what I mean? There's so many different forms of media. They could have a YouTube miniseries if they wanted. Who knows?
I will send a cleverly worded email to Simon. I'm going to see Hunter into it. It's going to be
Joseph said these ideas.
It's going to be direct. and
Hey,
we're
I
gonna
would
make it happen.
love to be involved. Dino Fury season 3 is, or Dino Fury season 2, season 1 is amazing. Dino Fury as a whole is amazing. Like I said before, the writing's on point, the acting's on point. You guys are phenomenal. Look, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for your time. I absolutely enjoyed speaking with you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for having us,
Thank
Joseph.
you. Really nice to chat to you.
Tell your daughter hi.
Yes. We
Oh,
love
it's her birthday tomorrow. It's literally her birthday tomorrow.
Oh, can we say happy birthday to her?
Absolutely. Her name's Mia.
Mia.
Okay, great. Are you
you
still
gonna start?
recording this for her?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mia.
Hi, Mia. Hey.
Happy 7th birthday, right?
7th birthday.
Oh my gosh, you're 7. Oh my gosh.
We love you so much. We're so thankful for you, and hopefully we'll get to meet you one day properly.
Yeah, one day we will, for sure.
I love it, guys. Thank you guys so much for that. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Whoa.
What a fun interview that
Wow,
was,
and a
right?
great shout out for Mia. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, Mia got a little shout out in there. Let me ask you, so there's a lot to unpack from that interview. Dino Fury season 3. I'd love to see it. Absolutely would love to see it. I think that would be what a fantastic kind of way to have another Dino season be the 30th anniversary season. I think it would be super cool if the 30th anniversary season was Dino Fury season 3. Or I'm also not opposed to there being a Dino Fury season 3 and then a 30th anniversary season. You know what I mean? Just because it's on Netflix doesn't mean we need just one Power Ranger show, which is fantastic. We also got to learn a lot about them. What kind of stood out to you the most?
The fact that I think that they really love their characters and can really envision, larger stories for them past season 2. The fact that I love how they said that the fans know more about what's going on with the franchise than they do. They were super excited when you kind of pitched the idea for season 3, and they're like, "Whoa, let's make this happen." So, I thought that was pretty cool. There's so much that was such a good interview. Props to you for speaking with them.
Oh, thanks, man. And I see the love in the chat. We got Larry said that was a good interview. Robert Amaya says happy early birthday to your daughter, Joe. Chicago Garcia says great interview. Another Robert Amaya also says great interview with Hunter and Tessa. They are a lot of fun. I can't wait to have them back. I can't wait to meet them in person. We're hoping they're going to be at Power Morphicon.
I think Hunter's
but if not,
Ranger Stop right now.
She's in Ranger Stop currently. But honestly, I really like doing, I know that you guys love seeing those Ranger interviews, so we do plan on bringing more to you. And earlier, somebody asked if we're interviewing Jordan Fight next week. We actually interviewed Jordan last week, because it's on last week's show. You can check it out on our Morphin Mondays. It released last Monday individually. Brian Weaver also says, great interview. Thank you so much, Brian. But next week's a big one, because we got the man himself on next week, Simon Bennett. He'll be talking about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2, Part 2. And maybe, who knows, maybe he can touch on the 30th anniversary a little bit. So Simon Bennett's going to be a lot of fun to talk to. We're so appreciative to have Simon, the showrunner for Power Rangers Dino Fury, on. And it's going to be a lot of fun. One thing that we absolutely love doing, who's next? See, that's asked, who's next? And there you go. It's Simon Bennett. It will be Simon Bennett next. One thing we love doing here on the Ranger Wrap Up is not only delivering you news, not only delivering you great interviews with some of these Ranger guests, but also highlighting our fellow Power Ranger content creators. This week, Jezzer had the opportunity to sit down with Danny from the Geeks of East LA to chat about his love of the fandom and kind of what he's doing in the community. And in our fandom spotlight, Jezzer talks about Danny. What are some of the takeaways? What should fans know about Danny to check out some of his content, Jezzer?
Danny has been a part of the Power Ranger fan film kind of universe for a long time. I think ever since, I want to say 2015 or 2014. So, ironically, he got his start with a JDF fan video contest that he did. And he recreated one of JDF's iconic morph scenes, which you'll see in the interview. But yeah, he talks about the struggle with Power Rangers content because of the whole that whole AdSense thing and the Ryan's Toys thing. He talks about just like where he gets his motivation from and what it's like working with the Power Ranger actors. And it's really good stuff. And honestly, he's a great interview, and his content is it's fun. It's very kid friendly. It's some of it's really cool because he also does a lot of the editing and shooting and writing all the stories by himself. So it's a lot of work. If you've never done any of this type of work, it's a lot of work, and you have to have a lot of drive, a lot of love for the franchise to invest so much time into it. And if you guys haven't seen any of his content, the link is in the description. We the Geeks of East LA, the good positive group, great channel to check out, especially if you love Power Rangers.
Absolutely. Another thing too that we want to add on top of that is that for any of you guys looking to get into creating Power Ranger content or understanding like what goes into it, these are great interviews for you guys to watch to inspire you to create some Power Ranger content that we would love to see. And we will be doing these fandom spotlights all the time. We want to highlight great content creators, much like Heirloom, Ranger Liz, Deoxy, the Fan Club, Josh Perry, the Living Ranger Key, Lightning Storm. They do a phenomenal job on their own individual content, but we also want to highlight other people that you may not know, may not have heard of. But absolutely check out this interview if you want to be inspired to create content, much like we're doing. I mean, this is how Jezra and I both started. So it's a great interview. Yep. Let's go to it.
What is up, Illuminerds? We are here with the Power Rangers fandom spotlight, and this week we got none other than the architect, the man behind the Geeks of East LA, Danny Castellanos. Dude, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me.
If you guys do not know his content, it's weird, especially if you guys are Power Ranger fans, because that is you're one of the staples within the Power Ranger, footage or Power Ranger fan films and stuff. You're like one of the pillars for it. Like you are probably, I remember watching you and Chris coming up like around, around the same time. Can you tell me how you got started with the fandom and why you chose to center your content around a lot of Power Ranger content?
Dude, oh my gosh, when I started this was like forever ago. I guess what started it is, there was this fan contest for like SpongeBob SquarePants back when it was big, and Nickelodeon was having like this cool challenge, and I decided, hey, you know what? Why don't I do that with my little brother and sister? And we did the contest. We lost, unfortunately, but I really
is that video still out there?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like floating around somewhere in my YouTube channel.
All right, that's cool. So yeah, so you lost, but
yeah, we did that contest. We failed, but I tested a lot of my green screen. What happened?
What's that?
I tested my green screen. I tested a lot of like VFX things, and then like I was like, oh my gosh, this was fun. The kids had fun. I had fun, and the family all saw that video, and they were like, oh my gosh, you should keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then Jason David Frank had a contest and recreating what is it, a favorite Power Rangers like episode. And I was like, it was just like coincidentally like around the same time. So I said, oh, why don't we do that contest? And the whole reason, I was keeping eyes on like Jason David Frank and like that was because my little brother and sister were watching Power Rangers, and I was like, oh my gosh, Power Rangers is still around. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, you guys need to see the Power Rangers. And I introduced them to Mighty Morphin and all that. And, I started connecting with social media of like, with the actors and stuff and what they've been up to.
Yeah.
And then JDF posted this contest and recreating like your favorite MMPR episode. And again, I got my friends, my brother and sister, and we just recreated a whole episode from Mighty Morphin. and I think that was, I guess, like the immediate reaction the fans had because he shared it, and we won that contest.
What?
Was what gave me that, like, oh my gosh, I should keep doing this, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, I've always loved acting and filming. Why don't I just like keep doing this? And that's what made the channel grow. And it was more of like making fan morphs and stories and yeah.
Was the channel We the Geeks of East LA back then, or was it your personal channel back then?
It was my personal channel. It was under my Instagram name, Surfer, and once we started like blowing up was when I decided to change the name.
Mhm.
Um, and I think once we got the silver play button, they ask you what you want this to go under, and I chose We the Geeks of East LA.
So, what's the history behind that? What can you tell us like how the name came to be?
So the name came to be because, dude, like when we started doing these videos and stuff, like there was like no cons, cons was barely a brand new thing.
Mhm.
And I mean, cons have been around, but it wasn't like
How it is today?
as big as it is now,
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Marisol, my fiance, we attended our first convention, and that was Kamikaze, LA Comic Con now.
Yeah.
It was under Kamikaze. It was owned by Stanley, and that was our first convention.
Wow.
And we took pictures, and we posted them, and people just like, people around the community just like messaged us like, "What is this? Where did you guys go?" And I told my fiance, you know what? We should make a page, and we should post like these cool little events. People really seem to dig it. And she was like, "What should we call it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I mean, we we can like work on this together and just put like geek content." And she's like, "Oh, why don't we just call it We the Geeks?" And I
Mm.
was like, even better, let's call it We the Geeks of East LA, because we're from East.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that's how that's how the name came to be.
Right.
Was it always you and your fiance and your brother and sister, or did you want to add more people to the group?
We definitely wanted to add more people to the group. My younger brother Michael, he's actually been a part of it from the very beginning. He always played our villain when we did things. He just never wanted to show his face. But I feel like what started off as me, my fiance, and my brother and sisters, it grew. you know um we met people from Long Beach, we met people from Riverside, and I feel that this name that we kept uh has evolved to what it was meant for.
Mhm.
It was a collective of creative people just getting together, just um creating great content, and it not necessarily just creating content, but sharing this knowledge of, like, you know back when Toys R Us was a thing, we were hopping together and like sharing information, like, "Oh, you guys are looking for this? Check this out, it's here." You
Yeah.
know, and that's basically what the name was for. It was to inform people in the community. There's this convention going on. Um, these actors are going to be here. You should definitely come down. And I feel like that's what we're doing now till this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Even
Which
if
is
we're not
awesome.
even if we're not using like the the Facebook page to do that, we're doing it in our own pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, what was your first introduction to Power Rangers? Was it MMPR?
My first introduction to Power Rangers had to be Turbo.
Oh.
I watched Turbo, and then I saw the transition to Space. So that's the season I started with. I started with Turbo to Space, and in between was Beetleborgs. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, as far as because you're a man of many hats. What some people don't know is that you not only do you shoot it and act in them and write the scripts and the stories, but you also edit it and do all the the effects in it. How was that always the plan, or do you feel like it's getting harder and harder to do just on your own?
Um, oh man, dude. Uh, See, one of the things I always say is, like, if you have a vision, go out and do it.
Yeah.
Um, I feel that if you have a vision and you can't do it, you're already limiting yourself. Just because you're already telling yourself, "Oh, I can't do it because I don't know how to do this,"
Mhm.
And I feel that when I started doing this, I started with what I could do, and that was like basic green screen, you
Mhm.
know, um, Halloween costumes. Like my first Power Rangers cosplay was literally the Green Ranger Halloween outfit. That video's
Nice.
still up there. That
Yeah.
video's still up there. You can go and check it out. And the thing is, I. I've had offers of people saying, "Hey, if you need somebody to do VFX, hit me up and this and that." And I appreciate that. I appreciate it 100%. But um, then they start asking, well, I charge this for how many hours, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
charge that, and it's like, hey, I respect that 100%. I pay people when I can't do something. Like one of the biggest things I can't do is music. So I have people that do music, and we pay them to use their music.
Mhm.
Um, but if it's like something I can do, I'd rather not pay somebody if I can do it.
And then it becomes part of your repertoire. You have that knowledge and those
Yeah,
skills to
yeah, yeah,
carry on forward. So that's pretty
exactly.
amazing. Now, as far as a big part of your growth in your channel is you guys have enjoyed the cosplay aspect of it. Can you tell
hmm
me how that came to be and how that all started? Because after that, I felt like that's when like the content like leveled up, as far as that in that aspect.
Um, the cosplay started at Kamikaze. I think I dressed up as Ash Ketchum.
Mhm.
Um, and then when we did our first Power Rangers video, uh, I had a Halloween costume. It was the Green Ranger Halloween costume.
Mhm.
And even then, like, I hated that costume because I had the foam padding of the suit, and I literally teared that up because I was like, I wanted to look accurate, and it still didn't look accurate. But I gotta give it to my friend James. My friend James McGuire from the UK. He saw what we were doing, and he hit me up in a DM, and he said, "Hey, I really love what you're doing. Is there any way I can help
Mhm.
you?" And I said, James, if you're watching this, I still remember that conversation. Um, and I said, sure. What would you want to help? He said, I want to donate a suit to you.
Wow.
And I was like, I appreciate the help. But I was like, dude, no. He's like, no, trust me. Like, I love what you're doing, and I know you can do more. Please let me just send you a suit. And it was a lot of back and forth. I didn't want to do it, and he donated the Red Ranger, the Red Lost Galaxy Ranger
Oh my
suit.
god. And I
And
think from what I see, I think that's your favorite suit.
it is one of my favorite suits, and it's not just because the season is great, but I cherish that moment of somebody believing in me
Mhm.
and saying, "Hey, I want to do this for you because I can see that this is something that's going to be bigger."
Mhm.
And if it wasn't for that, I don't know where my content would be,
Yeah.
because we did so many videos with that suit. Um,
and that's probably why it's one of my favorite suits. Is because it's the only suit I've done a lot of videos with.
Yeah.
Because it was like the second suit I've ever owned, and James, if it wasn't for him, till this day, he still helps us. He still like says, hey, if you guys need funding for something, you know, here's my donations.
Yeah.
So he's been a part of so many projects for such a long time, and I was very happy to return that favor to him. And I got him into PMC, I think like a few years ago, and it's this friendship that I've had with somebody I didn't know in
Hmm.
person. But yeah, that encouraged me to say, okay, if I want to continue doing this, I need more suits like that. you
Yeah.
know so dude, I was working 3 jobs, and you know I funded all the stuff that we needed, so that included more suits. What a lot of people don't know is I have a lot of suits, but all these suits I didn't order from Aniki. I didn't order from a suit maker. All these suits were I purchased them obviously, but I purchased them secondhand.
Hmm. Hmm.
So a lot of these suits, there's Facebook pages like Power
Facebook
Rangers traders,
Ranger.
buyers and sellers.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people were like, "Hey, I don't have use for this suit. I'm letting it go for like $300."
Yeah.
For me, $300 wasn't a lot, just because I was working 3 jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. And these suits weren't in great shape, you know. But my fiance knows how to sew. I found out, how to buff out scratches from helmets, how to wax them, how to get them back into shape.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how I got many of my suits. They were all like hand-me-downs, second hands that people were just getting rid of. So that's how the evolution of the costumes came to be, and how I had a collection of costumes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, so there's one time, I don't know if it's you, it could be you, and if it is,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy. 2015, there was a convention in LA. I think it was LA Cosplay Con. It was in a
Mhm.
hotel. Were you there?
LA Cosplay Con. ALA?
No, it was LA. It was called LA Cosplay Con. But there's a guy that had a quasar saber. He was dressed in a Red Galaxy suit, and like I just had to take a picture of him. And I need to find the picture, but it might have been you. I can't remember. But
I think it was me.
yeah,
I do remember a convention. It was at a hotel,
yeah.
and I think that was the first time ever I bought a prop
Uh-huh.
from like eBay.
Yeah.
So I think that was me.
Yeah, yeah. If a Mega Man came up to you and asked you to see the Quasar Saber, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Find that picture and I'll confirm it.
Yeah, we're gonna find that picture. Now, one of the things that I ask a lot of creators now, especially with how the landscape is with creating this content for the franchise, is the opportunity and the privilege to work with some of the greats from the franchise. You have worked with a lot of the greats in the franchise. Does it ever kind of, do you ever sit back and think like, wow, I'm working with Christopher Kamen Lee or Brendan Mejia? Does that ever like just kind of like do you just lose your minds or like fanboy over those moments?
So here's the thing. I'd say like I'm a lot older now.
Mhm.
A younger me did fanboy.
Mhm.
Like I can tell you, the first time I talked to Brennan, I was a super fanboy. um, now, like now it's like it feels like more mature and
Mhm.
more respectful.
Mhm.
But yeah, dude, like I mean, if it for me, fanboying is totally fine,
Yeah.
because you meet your role models, and then on top of that, if you're working with them and you're like directing them, it's kind of like oh dang,
Yeah,
I'm telling them what to do.
yeah,
you know but I dude, it's the level of respect, like treat others the way you want to be treated.
hmm
And I feel like that with the actors is very important,
hmm
like separating yourself from a fan, and then separating yourself in a professional level, and then the friendship afterwards is great,
yeah,
but yeah, dude, when I met Brendan Mejia the first time, it was San Diego Comic-Con. I ran into him. I super fanboy,
yep,
super fanboy. um now the way I present myself to some of the greats is it's more in a respected level,
hmm hmm
but yeah, dude, I definitely, dude, when Kim and Lee and me like shot we shot one of our videos a long time ago. I had him face off Darth Vader.
yeah.
um and he's a huge Star Wars
He
fan.
had the robe and
And
everything.
dude, I made him put on the red robe,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm dude, I'm dressing him, I'm dressing him and putting it on, and I'm looking at him, and I'm here like, oh my gosh, it's Andros.
Yeah, yeah.
you know but yeah, dude, I mean, yeah, I definitely have my moments when I fanboy, but I gotta like remind myself, hey, hey, hey,
Gotta be professional.
you gotta be professional,
Now, I mean, these Rangers have a lot of fans, but you have a lot of fans too. Was there ever a moment or a time that you remember that you hold so dearly to your heart, like a fan moment or an interaction with you and someone that has loved your work?
um dude, it was Ranger Stop. This kid came up to me, and he he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the Red Ranger," and I'm here like, no. But he's like, "No, I watch your YouTube videos." Yeah, I forget his name, and he was like, "I really wish I had something for you to design," and I was like, "Well, we can take a picture."
Yeah, yeah.
The very next day, he came with that picture we took, and he had me sign it, and
Aw.
that stuck with me forever.
hmm
And what sticks to me a lot is also meeting the fans that like my work, but also ask me questions,
hmm
um, because it's to me, it's like I'm inspiring people, which believe me, I hate seeing myself like this, but it's like, it's like I didn't have that,
hmm
um, and to be able to, to help somebody who doesn't have, you know, like what I had, because I had nothing. I had the computer, I had whatever motivated me to do it, and sit down and figure this out. And to have people tell you, "Oh my gosh, I love your work. I'm trying to do this. How do you do it?" And being able to have that opportunity of being like, "Okay, listen, this is what you got to do." You know, it's really cool. It's
hmm
great. It's like one of the greatest feelings to have, because at the end of the day, you don't know who this person is going to be later on in the future,
Yeah.
and and it's not, oh, they're going to shout me out later, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, I know that kid, or I know that person, I am happy for them,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Definitely.
And I think those I like cherishing those moments of helping people out, trying to bring their projects to life,
hmm
because yeah, it's really rewarding, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Definitely. Now you mentioned motivation.
Mhm.
What type of things motivate you to keep going and keep going forward? Like I like if a lot of people don't know, like content creating is not an easy job. You're constantly thinking about the next video, the next thing, and what goes into the next video, what goes into the next project. What what in your life motivates you to keep going and keep creating this content that you love to make?
um TV shows.
Yeah.
TV shows for one thing. Watching perfect example, Mandalorian. As soon as I watched the first season of Mandalorian, I had the idea for The Lost Child.
That's one of my favorite of your series. I'm waiting
Thank you.
for part 2.
Oh, dude, part 2, man. It's gonna happen. It's happening. It's already in the process. But dude, yeah, watching Mandalorian is one thing. Watching Super Sentai. Constantly go back and watch series that I already know, just because watching the way they shoot things, watching the way the VFX are done, inspires me, and I'm just like, dude, I want to create this. And I have a group chat with the guys, and I'm like, yo, we need to do this for the next video. Or I'm constantly writing down like what I think, and I send it to them, and then them going, dude, that'd be badass, yeah, we should do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the motivation.
Yeah.
I get motivated from TV shows, the storytelling, the VFX, and then I share it with the guys, and then the guys are saying that is great, or no, this doesn't work, but this is how it could work, motivates me even more. And that's why that's the motivation, is just surrounding yourself by people that support you and want to see this come to life. I have this thing where it's like, like, it's my project, but the moment I share it with people and the moment they share back, it's our project.
Yeah.
It's no longer mine. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
definitely.
motivation.
Definitely. Now, along with content creating, comes there's definitely a lot of ups and a lot of positive things, but there's also sometimes a lot of negative things. How do you block that type of stuff out and not let us stop you from continuing on with your goal?
Well, there is a lot of negativity. Well, I feel like on my early days there was a lot of negativity, just because I didn't take creative criticism very well. I was young. I didn't take it very well, and I hated reading bad comments. You know, and I feel like I don't get that anymore, and that could be because of the giant shift within the algorithm.
Yeah.
Which is something that we could talk about too.
Yeah.
but because I feel like now the viewers that I have now, the true viewers that I have now, are people that are fans and people that give creative criticism for two, and it's not necessarily negative anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's with this algorithm that's changed. But dude, the back then, the negative comments, I used to be a keyboard warrior.
Oh yeah.
So I
It's
used to
it's really
respond.
hard. It's really hard to stop. To
Yeah.
separate yourself from that. But I think once you get to like the upper epsilon, you
Yeah.
have to let it go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that, like, I'm not ashamed of saying, "Oh, I used to be this way."
yeah.
But it's like I've learned to not listen to them. I've learned to just ignore it, delete the comment, and not worry about it again, and continue doing what I love. Because at the end of the day, I do this because I love it, you
Yeah.
know? And I feel that once somebody gives you a negative comment or just starts bashing you, it's not a creative criticism. It's not gonna elevate me. It's not gonna deteriorate me if I pay attention to it. So I learned to just ignore it, you know. Um, and I learned to actually take a creative criticism. Okay, maybe I should work on this. Maybe I should pay attention to this. So that's really how I handled it back in the day
Yeah.
and now.
Yeah. Now you had mentioned something we have talked about recently, the algorithm. So when all of us first started, and when you started, it was a totally different algorithm. Can you tell us, let the audience know what happened between then and now that kind of changed the whole landscape?
Fantastic. All right. So the question was, what's the change? Okay. All right.
Yep. Algorithm.
So the algorithm changed drastically. I feel like back in the day, I used to upload something and it just hit every audience. whether it was a kid, whether it was an adult, whether it was a teenager, it just hit. And I feel I feel like I never said this enough in my YouTube channel, but people were sharing it, whether I told them or not, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, because your content was able to reach the mass. Um, but then this change in this algorithm, the whole division between YouTube Kids and YouTube, completely changed the way things were being shared, um, the way things were being uploaded. Um, so before, it was great. Did a video, upload it. It was in the tube and it reached everybody. Now I feel like even to upload, you have to fill out all these pages of like, does this contain violence? Does this not contain
Yep.
violence? If
Yep.
it
The
does,
checklist.
why? Yeah. Okay. It's a checklist. And the beginning, I felt this I it hurt me the first time with the lost child. Actually, that was the first video I uploaded when this change happened, and I was filling this out. And then YouTube sends me a message saying, "We've received your paperwork. Please give us 24 hours before you fully upload this video." So I didn't even have permission to upload my video when it was done. Um, and now it's changed. Now you can upload it, and then they'll check off the marks. But it was like, what the heck? Now the video is uploaded, but it's no longer reaching the masses because of this division. So a lot of people, a lot of the younger audience who are on YouTube Kids can't even watch The Lost Child because it's not allowed on YouTube Kids,
Yeah.
but it's allowed on YouTube.
Hmm.
And there's some videos that I've uploaded that I say, "Oh, this isn't made for kids," but YouTube is like, "No, no, we saw it. It's for kids. We've determined it's for kids."
Okay.
And I can't fight it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the audience on YouTube can't find that video,
Hmm.
but the kids can. And the kids aren't allowed to share. They're not allowed to comment. So it's like I lose the opportunity to even communicate with that audience, even if I wanted to,
Hmm.
which is such a shame because I feel like the example I gave when I went to Ranger Stop, I had this kid and he was a fan of mine and he wanted to talk to me and like, do all this. It's like, how many other kids out there are no longer seeing my YouTube videos because of YouTube Kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the unfortunate part too is, like now with this division, half of my YouTube channel is like split in half. So I have people, um, like my fiance's family. One of their favorite videos is Men in Black skit that we did with DJ Rivers.
Yeah. 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 I
Um,
remember that.
they can't find it, and the reason they can't find it is because it's on YouTube Kids. And I'm here like, why is it on YouTube Kids?
It's
um,
crazy. You think that
it
the YouTube Kids stuff would be on regular YouTube at least,
Yeah. And like I tested this theory, like I downloaded YouTube Kids, I search for a video I'm looking for and it won't pop up. But my YouTube channel pops up, but the video doesn't. I go on YouTube, I search for it, it pops up. And I'm just like, why? Why are you like this?
Yeah.
Things were so beautiful back in the day.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I kind of understand why they did it because of the whole
yeah,
exposing kids to like some people are
yeah,
taking advantage of it. But
yeah.
um with something like this, more like human eyes should be on these things to help control it versus an algorithm. But I
Right,
mean, I know it's a
right.
lot of work, and especially like when so many creators are out there uploading millions of content every second, it's hard to
Right.
regulate. But yeah, another thing that I've because I've seen you in a lot of things other than the work that you produce and direct. You've been collabing a lot with a lot of the fandom. How hard or how different is that to kind of let loose the reins as far as your creative control on things and just act in some of these?
Oh man. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's frustrating.
Because there's
And
little things you want to change, but you can't because it's not
exactly,
yours.
exactly. And that I think that's one of the biggest problems with like trying to be in somebody else's projects is that you could give creative input, but you don't want to overstep, on somebody else's project. And I think
Mhm.
that's one of the biggest issues. But I am happy. I am happy to collab. A lot of people tell me, what are your thoughts on collabing? And I'm like, I'm always open for it. It's just for me personally, I like to see the story, read the story, see where it's going.
Mhm.
Um, and I would like to give creative criticism.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, like being on set with like especially Power Rangers, because I love Power Rangers, is it's kind of tough because you know I don't like judging, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I could have handled this differently, or I
Mhm.
see what you're going with, but I have to tell myself, you're an actor, you're here to act, you're
Yeah.
here to
Yeah.
act, you know.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. There's people that take creative criticism very well, and there's others that don't. But hey, to each
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah. And you've also been auditioning for and being a part of a few films. How is that? How has that worked out for you? How has that been different than the content you create? Like being part of some of these shows, some of these movies. Is it kind of like eye opening and kind of steered you towards maybe doing more of that in the future?
Well, I mean, even before I started doing content creating, I did a lot of theater work in high school, middle
Mhm.
school, even elementary school. That's where I started. Elementary is where it all went downhill. Auditioning is definitely for auditioning for a project that has nothing to do with Power Rangers, especially horror. Um, it really takes a lot.
Mhm.
But being on set, it's more professional. When I'm not doing theater work, I'm doing it, in front of a camera. It's just like a different environment.
Yeah.
Like I like doing my Power Ranger stuff. You know, but I feel like Power Rangers always has that little twist, that little oh ha 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 moment. But when you're on set, especially for like, something that's not Power Rangers, you got to remember this is a different world.
Yeah.
This isn't your everyday PG-13 kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're dealing with people that don't even know Power Rangers. I think one of the funniest moments that happened to me was we were working in this film. It was taking place like late 80s, early 90s, and I was dressed like full like Stranger Things style. and and everybody on set was reading their lines, super professional. We have this old school ambulance. We just witnessed a death, and the costume person who's in charge of my costume and wardrobe, she had told me, oh, hey, what's your Instagram, let's exchange info. And we did. Right. And then we finish rolling, and all I hear is, "What the fuck, Danny?" And I turn around and I'm looking at her. She's like, "You're a Power Ranger?" And I was like, "What? No." um,
No.
and like it was funny, but it was just like like the environment is so different. It's just like
Yeah.
so different. Like people like actors that aren't doing this like fun skits, fun moment things, like it's just like a different environment overall. It's just
Yeah.
like you're dealing with real professionals, and then the equipment is super expensive, and you're catered. You're not eating chips and soda.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's completely different. But it's cool. Like I love doing it. I love acting.
Mhm.
Acting is what I do. you know um whether it's on stage or behind camera. And even that, theater acting and on camera acting is completely different.
Two different
you know
worlds. Yeah.
Two different worlds. And like people are all different. I
Yeah.
I love I love I love the artistry on actors themselves. Like people when it comes to rehearsing lines, when it comes to becoming the character, everybody tackles it differently, and I think that's really cool. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, and it's a learning experience too.
Yeah,
Every
definitely.
day. Every day you learn something, from different people, from different artists. So it's really cool.
Definitely. Now, I know like you've wanted to cross these worlds together multiple times before. Can you for fans that, want to be Power Rangers and maybe audition for the next season of Power Rangers, is there any tips that you can give to them as far as from what your experiences are?
For sure. The tips I would give to anybody auditioning for Power Rangers is, if you know the audition is coming up, get in shape. Get in shape because your appearance is definitely something they look at. Um, one of my coaches in auditioning literally told us this: the minute you walk into that audition room, your audition has started. So
Yeah.
definitely one is your appearance, the way you look. Look at everybody that's been casted as a Power Ranger. What do they have in common? They're all fit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're all dressed nice. Definitely, if there's a color you're going for, dress like one of the Puriest Rangers and see what their wardrobe is like. Go and dress like that. You know, um, you know, know the material. They give you the audition piece, the sides, like very early on.
Mm-hmm.
I say one of the biggest things to do is memorize the dialogue. Have that in your brain. Um, look at some Power Ranger episodes and look how line delivery is being delivered from these
Mm-hmm.
actors and apply those into your scene. Um, there's that. And learn.
Would you say like um being an experienced actor is key or used a lot for a lot of these auditions?
I mean, dude, experience. Honestly, I don't think experience matters as much. You know, sorry. Uh,
Yeah.
experience doesn't really matter a lot. You
Hmm.
can be an unexperienced actor, audition for something, and book it.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd be very surprised, and it's usually just because of the way you come off. It could be your energy in the room. If you're really friendly, it could be your style. People might like your style,
Yeah.
and that's something that can book it. So you don't necessarily need to have the experience,
Yeah.
you know um um but yeah, man, I think Allison, she was Lightspeed Pink. I think right out of high school she went and auditioned and she booked it,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know
But that's not the
and
yeah, that's not the same for a lot of the Rangers, but like some of them audition maybe 3, 4, 5 times and
yeah, I think Jason Font auditioned 3 times before he
yeah.
got Time Force. So I think it really depends.
Yeah, it really depends.
And that goes for any gig,
Hmm.
any acting gig. You just sometimes you're lucky, and sometimes your work shows for itself.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it really, really depends. But yeah, definitely take some sort of like preparation before you enter an audition room.
Yeah, definitely. Now, outside of Power Rangers as a role, what would be your absolute dream role or show or movie to be a part of?
Oh man. Um, Obviously Power Rangers, but
Hmm.
um, dude, Star Wars is kicking butt right now.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know,
there's a lot of people that are getting some roles from it because I
yeah,
think, especially with cosplayers, I think Dave Filoni and Favreau like to use, even if it's for background actors, they
yeah,
like to use a lot of the fandom. So,
yeah.
what would you want to be in Star Wars?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I just found out Speed Racer is getting a TV show,
Yes.
and
I love the last movie that they did. I don't know. I know it doesn't get a lot of
it's
love.
super underrated, man. It's a super underrated film. It
Yeah.
was too advanced for its time. But dude, when I heard Speed Racer's TV show was coming out, I was like, man, I'd kill to audition, you know. And one of my friends was like, "Who would you want to audition for?" And I just told him, "Dude, I don't care if I'm the first goon that Speed like knocks out of the road. I am so there."
Dude, that would be awesome. It's like, even if you get that like 5-second clip, you could be like, that's me
Exactly.
right there.
That's me. That's
That's
me
it.
right there, you know? I think dude, there's so many like worlds I'd wish I could, be part of, like Stranger Things too, dude. Like, oh my
Great
gosh,
show.
like,
That show is, I,
oh my
it never
gosh.
ceases to amaze me how they level up from the last season. This
Yeah,
season is so
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. And it's just like, dude, I'd kill to be a part of any of these worlds. It's just being a part of something that's amazing is just great.
Yeah. But you know what?
You know?
I know you are a big horror fan. I can see you being part of a horror franchise, especially a lot of these, a lot of young up and coming actors get their start from horror. Is that something? Is that a path that you can see
Yeah.
yourself coming in as?
Dude, I I I have like a list of like horror films I've been a part of on my resume.
Yeah.
And I always die.
Yeah.
So if I can play a character that's not dying, either I'm dying or I am part of the montage of monsters. Like, I just want to survive.
Yeah. I just want to survive. Everybody just
But it's
wants to
okay.
survive.
Have you seen the color of my skin? I think that's why.
But I think we're moving in a direction where us being brown is we're making it further into the movies,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's a fun idea. Now, as far as aspiring, either Power Ranger content creators or content creators on YouTube, is there any tips that you have for them starting off? Anything that you want to tell them?
Dude, I think like the the YouTube game has changed so much. It's so hard to give advice,
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of people that want to do this want to do it because, oh my gosh, I'm gonna blow up. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get all these subscribers. But like that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. If you're coming in with that intention, with that in your heart, I can't really advise you
Mhm.
because, for
That's
me, it
not the
was
way.
never like that.
Yeah, it's not the right way to go about it
If
for
you're
growth.
if you're passionate about filmmaking, if you're passionate about storytelling, if you're passionate about, even any of these, pop culture franchises, like go in with the intention of trying to create something that people are gonna like, you know,
Yeah.
um, because that's how you build an audience. I feel,
Mhm.
you build an audience based on your storytelling. You build an audience based on on just making this because you love it. The minute you go in saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this because I want the followers and this and that," I feel like if you don't reach that, it hurts
Yeah. Yeah.
because you start asking the wrong questions. Why am I not famous? Why am I not an influencer? And it's just like,
It's
what
not
is
it's
it?
not gonna work out for you.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain. It's
Yeah.
really hard to explain because it's like you're setting a goal for something without taking the right steps.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Yeah.
I say if you want to go in and do like your own Power Rangers, because obviously this is what we're talking about. It's like if you want to go in and do your own Power Rangers, if you want to do your own series of Power Rangers, you know focus on your storytelling, focus on how you're gonna build this world. Once you have that, you go out and film it. Feel the motivation to do it. um share it. the moment you start sharing your art, that's the moment people are going to see it, you know. And if people see it and they like what you do, they're going to share it, you know. So that's how it starts building out, you know.
Yeah.
And just be consistent with your work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm lacking in consistency just because it's getting hard for me to like build this big world that I'm trying to build, you know. But you know, like I said, right now the algorithm is so off, but like the moment I share something, I start talking to those fans that pop up in my comment section constantly, because they're there and they're there to give creative criticism, and they're there to say, hey, this is awesome. I can see why you took long to do this. You know,
Yeah.
and those comments mean a lot more than like, oh, yo, this sucked. Thumbs down. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the only advice I can give, you know, to anybody trying to do this is focus on your storytelling, tell that story, do it. Just go out there
Definitely.
and do it. And just be open to creative criticism too,
Yep.
because um
Sometimes it's good for you. Sometimes they're giving
yeah,
you some really good advice
yeah.
because it's what they want to see. And not changing your concept, but like what they think that you want to see. So I think that
Hmm.
that's awesome. I think like also like mostly I think um you gotta do like you gotta do what you love. And then if it's like catching lightning in a bottle, then it works out. But yeah,
And it's great that you said do what you love, because I think that goes back with trying to be an influencer or trying to blow up on YouTube.
yeah,
It's like if you're doing it for the wrong intention, you're not loving it. You're complaining about it.
yeah,
Therefore,
definitely.
you're not doing it for passion, you know?
Yeah,
If you're doing it with the passion and that heart, and because, oh, I love doing this, then that becomes more of a keep going.
yeah,
If you love it,
definitely.
keep going. Who
Yeah,
cares what people say, you know?
definitely. Well, Danny, thank you so much for your time. And dude, I can't. I need part two. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you, but part two
Well,
needs to come out.
here's the thing. There is no pressure. I can tell you right now, part two, the way I'm envisioning this is going to be awesome. You're going to
Uh-huh.
love it. I have a lot of the Lost Galaxy lore in there,
Yeah.
and I will tell you this. This takes place a few years after Terra Venture landed on Miranoi.
Oh.
So we get to see what the GSA and the people from Miranoi have been doing since, you know, both worlds came to one.
So maybe leading up to another Power Ranger season.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I am legit writing this like an episodic thing.
Yeah.
Um, and the Lost Child is part of that story.
That is
So.
awesome. That is awesome. Now, where can everybody find you on social media?
You guys can find me on Instagram at surfer. You guys can find me on YouTube at We the Geeks of ELA .com. Or yeah, We the Geeks of EastLA.com.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for your time, and you guys check out those videos, especially if you're a Power Rangers fan, because he has a ton of great Power Ranger content. Like I think the child the Mandalorian one is my favorite, and also the Predator one.
Oh my gosh, that one
Yeah.
was fun. That was very hard to shoot during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
The just even the little details as far as like how the Predator hunts and everything, and like just the different characters that are getting captured. I think that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Dude,
So
well, I watched Predator 1 and 2, so I based it off Predator 1 and 2,
yeah.
and
Did you
that's
see
why
the trailer for Prey? For I think it's
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
oh
insane. It's
yeah.
insane. I can't wait for that, dude.
So if you guys want to check out some of that content, be sure to check it out. The links will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture. Oh,
we are back. What an amazing interview, Jezzer. You had the Lion King playing. I don't know what's playing in the background right now as you were doing that live. But that was a fantastic insight into how Danny and the Geeks of East LA go through the process and kind of work. And look, let's be honest about it. Danny is one of the forefathers for really starting the Power Ranger fan film movement. He was really one of the first ones doing it, and much credit to Danny. He's such a great dude. If you guys get a chance to meet him in person, please do so. And also check out his work at the Geeks of East LA. They do phenomenal work. And look, Justice fans like you and I are, Jezzer, we love sharing the spotlight with other fans that are making the brand bigger and creating that awareness. But you know what? The real credit goes to everybody that is stuck with us and are watching us at home, wherever you're streaming from. We've literally been doing this show for the last 2.5 hours. So thank you for sticking around and just geeking out with us about the franchise that we love, which is Power Rangers. And also Super Sentai, Kamen Rider. We cover it all. We cover it all here at the Illuminerdi's Ranger Wrap-Up. But man, this was a jam-packed show, and we love delivering stuff like this for Ranger Nation every single week. So all of you guys in the chat, thank you so much for sticking around for these last 2.5 hours, all of you troopers that are in there. And Jezzer, what are some of the highlights that you took away from your interview with Danny?
Just the whole conversation with the whole YouTube algorithm change. I know, especially us, we were affected by it drastically, and we just had to find ways to get around it. And it's tough when YouTube starts regulating things and not really honing in on what else it affects. Kind of plays into it, kind of like when they start making changes but they don't realize the effects that it has on other things. Kind of really reflects a little bit of what's going on in today. But that's going a little political, but YouTube did that, and people just have to figure out a way to make the best of it, because no one else is gonna do it for us. So I mean, it's tough. It's definitely tough, and it can stunt your growth. It can maybe not like unmotivate you from continuing to make content. So it's really on the creator on how much they want to do and how much they want to invest into it.
And if there's any creators that you know that are in the Tokusatsu or Power Ranger fandom that you want to get a shout out to, or let us cover on a Power Ranger fandom spotlight, let us know. We have a lot of cool creators coming up that you should be checking out. Also, our cast members on this show: Ranger Liz, Heirloom, Deoxy, the Fan Club, and I'm leaving one out. And Josh Perry, the Living Ranger King. Check all of them out individually. They are putting out individually great content for Power Rangers and Tokusatsu as well. And you fans out there, don't get discouraged. If you want to create great Power Ranger content, do it. And listen, check out some of the experiences from some of these past creators on our Power Ranger Spotlight, which you can find archived here on YouTube. So just hit that.
Tease the next one coming out too.
Oh, let's tease that. What you got next? Let's actually tease the whole show next week.
Next one coming up is Mr. Chris Cantata.
Oh, I love Chris. He's a great dude. Chris Cantata, we got another super chat coming in late. Thomas DeCa says, will the movie come out in 2024? Ooh. You know what? All right, so that's a great question. And look, this is the reason why you stick around towards the end of the show, or whatever part of the show you want to stick around for. Thomas, I will say this quite honestly, is that I don't know if there's much planned beyond 2023. There was definitely a lot of plans, I think, for the future of it. But currently right now, I think the concentration is really going to be on really toy focused on the 30th anniversary and just prepping for 2023. But I don't think there's plans currently right now for anything beyond. Not saying that there's not going to be, just saying right now there's not anything beyond 2023 in the plans. So
that's a little bit of a drop right there.
I'm just trying to be honest about certain things. I just want to be very transparent. I don't want to take anything. I don't want to say that the movie's not coming out, because I don't know that definitively. But I do know that there's been a lot of holdups with the film. There's been a lot of holdups behind the scenes with production, and it doesn't seem like all of that's quite yet coordinated. So the 2024 landing spot for the film doesn't seem likely, in my opinion. Not saying it won't happen, but it just doesn't seem likely currently, in my opinion. But we'll just have to wait and
So-
see, Thomas. But thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate
July
it.
and August, you said maybe.
Hey, Donnie.
July.
July and August is a date that Power Ranger fans, or amongst the Power Ranger fans, should be really looking out for. Rumor has it, and I want to say it's a strong rumor, but rumor has it that we should be hearing something in July, at the very latest August. My guess, personally, is that we'll hear something towards August, but I think Power Ranger fans should really keep August kind of circled, as they do. Power Rangers Day is August 28th. We know that's always been on the docket, but we're expecting to hear something about the series for the 30th season sometime between July and August. So that's something else to kind of keep. Again, that's a rumor. I don't want to say that that's a fact, but that's a rumor, but it's a strong one. So if any Power Ranger fans out there want to keep their ear to the ground, July, August, that's about the time we want to start looking.
That's a good time.
Yeah. But we want to thank you guys all for your super chats. We want to thank our fellow cast members, Ranger Liz, Deoxy, Heirloom, Josh Perry, Jezer, with that amazing interview that you just did with Danny.
Dan, the fan club.
And we also want to thank... Dan fan club. How did I leave fan club out here? And then we also want to thank Tessa Rao and Tessa Rao and Hunter Deno giving us their time to talk about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2. And hey, man, let's get it trending. Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 3. I want to see that all over Twitter. We're going to have articles about that. By the way, if you want to see any of these individual content creators, these videos will be coming out on Monday. So that way you will have every single one of these segments out on Monday, and we will bookmark each one of these chapters. But guys, thank you all for bearing with us on this extremely... We're going to call this the Super Mega edition of the Ranger Wrap-Up. Next week, we're going to be back live with we got Chris Cantata. We're doing a Power Ranger fan spotlight on. We also got Simon Bennett on the show, asking him what all you guys want to know about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2. And hell, he may even give us a little glimpse of the 30th anniversary next week. And we are going to be doing another one of our Ranger Nation fan discussions. With our cast, at least as members of our cast that can't actually make it. So stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Power Rangers Dino Fury, the 30th anniversary, comics, Lightning Collection, everything and anything and everything Power Rangers and Tokusatsu. We discuss it every Saturday right here on the Ranger Wrap-Up. But to stay up to date with everything that's on our channel, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button right down below to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. Have a great rest of your day, and join our Star Trek show over on Twitch. They're going to be going live around.
No, there's none today.
Star Trek fan, Donnie Pearson. It's not today. It's not happening
Not
today.
today.
Never mind. Go download our podcast. It's called.
We're always watching.
Why did I forget the name of our podcast? We're always watching. It's our movie podcast. We do movies every single week. The cast rotates between myself, Jezer, Josh, Caitlin, Kevin, and Brandon Zachary. It's been a lot of fun. So go check out our movie podcast called We're Always Watching. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this beautiful Saturday, guys.
Peace.